Part 180. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1792. Tan Shahen helped Zhang Xiangbei arrange to take a theoretical test at the Vehicle Administration Office in Hangzhou and obtain a domestic driver's license. Zhang Chen gave him his bank card and asked Zhang Xiangbei to buy a car by himself. Zhang Xiangbei did not go to 4 stores of various brands. Instead, he went to the second-hand car market and bought an old Buick. He drove it back triumphantly and told Zhang Chen that the car had traveled more than 90,000 kilometers and only cost $43,000. Zhang Chen was taken aback and cursed, "I'm asking you to buy a car, I'm not asking you to buy a broken car." Zhang Xiangbei smiled and said, "Dad, I remember, you don't seem to be particular about cars. You are a little abnormal this time." "I am me and you are you," Zhang Chen said angrily. "If you drive out in such a broken car, don't say you are my son. People who don't know would think I am so harsh on you." "You don't understand this, Dad," Zhang Xiangbei said. "A car is a tool. As long as the tool is suitable, this car is the most suitable for me now. I only come back for more than a month every year, and more than half of this car's the time is spent there, so why buy something so good? If you want to buy something good, wait until I come back to buy it. Then you might as well not buy it. My company will give you a random car, which is better than your car," Zhang Chen said. Xiao Fang watched the father and son bickering from the side. When Zhang Xiangbei left, Xiao Fang looked at Zhang Chen and asked, "What's wrong with you, my dear? Bai Bei is right, aren't you not particular about this at all?" "I am me, he is him, I don't care, he." Zhang Chen couldn't finish half of what he said. Xiao Fang understood and asked, "Do you think my sister left early, so you feel that you must treat Bai Bei well and not wrong him?" Zhang Chen thought for a moment, and in his subconscious mind, he really had this idea. He felt that Zhang Xiangbei no longer had a mother. As a father, he had to be twice as kind to him and give him the best in everything. Otherwise, he would feel that he owed Zhang Xiangbei, and more importantly, he would feel vaguely sorry for Xiao Zhao. Zhang Chen stopped talking, and Xiao Fang said slowly, "Dear, you have given Bai Bei a chance to choose. You should feel happy when he chooses this way. The most worrying thing about a child like Bai Bei is not that he is too low-key, but that he is too low-key. Being too flamboyant may lead to trouble. He is still a student. It is good for students to drive such a car. After he works and is able to do things and make money, it will not be too late to match him with a suitable car. If he drives it now, driving a car with millions of dollars, apart from telling others that he is a rich second generation, what else can he say? Being labeled as a rich second generation, do you know the messy people in society who want to get close to him the most? That's what I said, maybe it will cause trouble. Just for Bai Bei's safety, we can rest assured that he drives a car like this. I know Bai Bei better than you do. I know what he needs. Just leave him alone." Zhang Chen thought about what Xiao Fang said and it made sense, so he said okay. After getting a car, Zhang Xiangbei drove and was very busy every day. He either went to Jibao to practice boxing with Xiao, or went to Peach Blossom Spring with 2 land reclamation warriors to grow vegetables. Xiao set up a practice hall in the logistics space. In addition to practicing by himself, he also takes apprentices. Erhuo sent the security captains of their national logistics bases here in turn and asked Xiao Wu to lead them to practice. Logistics is something that gentle people can't do. If they don't take a moment, they really can't control people. They not only serve as a base, but also help customers deliver goods, especially those delivered to the airport. When the logistics is busy, the planes are so busy. When it comes to positioning, several logistics companies are vying for it, and they will fight each other. If you are not strong-minded in logistics, you will only be bullied everywhere. The idiot also had a little idea. He told Xiao Wu that the most reliable relationship between people is that of master and apprentice. The security captains in our country are all your apprentices and forced to raise them. Xiao Wu, you are the master. Who dares not to listen to what they say? In the logistic space, the most difficult thing to manage is the security. With such a relationship, any rules and regulations are more effective. If anyone is disobedient, you don't need to take action. The other brothers will teach him a lesson if he is forced to do so. Xiao Wu listened to the second-rate guy's statement, which seemed a bit nonsensical, but it seemed very reasonable and very effective. Xiao Jin and Cao Qiaoqing also told Xiao Wu that this is what they did at their base, the security captain and loading and unloading captain, they are all their apprentices, and the relationship between the apprentice and the apprentice is very stable. The second-rate guy said to Xiao Wu, have you seen Shanghai Bund? You are now Su Wenqiang. Our current logistics space is not the same dock as before. The people on the dock and the books they have read have all been returned to the teacher. It is useless for you to tell them the truth, so just use the Jianghu method to control them. It is the most effective, everyone. They are also the ones who are the best at clinging to each other and forcing themselves to be raised. Those who work in logistics don't have to fight a few times to make themselves famous. Xiao Wu said to Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen smiled and said, you have to listen to me, he is more accurate than me in this aspect, but you must also tell your disciples not to do anything that is outside the law or violate the law. Don't do things that we should do, and don't take the initiative to cause trouble when you go out. If people want to make trouble for us, don't be polite. Xiao Wu said yes. For this reason, the training hall at their Jibao logistics base is very large, with dozens of people training here all year round, not only security captains from various places, but also loading and unloading captains, as well as key members of the security team and loading and unloading team. Xiao Wu himself didn't have so much time to train them. He also hired a physical coach and a guy who retired from the national Sanda team to train them. Zhang Xiangbei arrived here. Although he was the youngest, because he studied with Xiao the earliest, everyone called him senior brother. Senior brother was not idle in the United States and was very energetic. In addition to studying and growing vegetables, he also led apprentices in the school's fighting club. In addition to punching and kicking, those apprentices also helped grow vegetables together. When Zhang Xiangbei arrived here, besides practicing with the physical coach, his favorite thing was to compete with retired national Sanda players. Every time Zhang Xiangbei goes to the logistics space, he will take Sun Xiangyang with him. Otherwise, this guy will not go anywhere except playing games at home. His classmates invited him to go on a trip together. He thought it was too hot, but actually he felt that he was with these guys. There is no nutrition, but it is still fun to go to Yongcheng together like they did before. Unfortunately, this year, Li Go returned to Taiwan, Zheng Xingxin went to the United States, and Zhou Ruyi also reported to work, so there was no time to spend with them. Zhang Xiangbei came and asked him to go to Dehuayuan to grow vegetables. He told him that he had a stomachache today. In fact, he was still afraid of being tired, so he only asked him to go to the logistics space. He got up from the bed and ran downstairs. Every time when they see Sun Xiangyang coming, everyone in the training hall screams, saying that Sandbag is coming, and they all call him Sandbag. Fatty Sun was afraid of heat and fatigue, but he was not afraid of being beaten. Every time he was beaten until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen, he would come downstairs right away when he screamed the next day. Zhang Xiangbei studied economics at Yale. Whenever Xiaofang had important business negotiations, he would bring him with him. Xiaofang told him that what you learn in school is static. In practice, because of the differences of the people involved, changes, even if the case is the same as in your textbook, the actual results will be very different. Participating in practice will be more effective than reading books. All theories are summarized from practice. Economic theory always lags behind. Actual economic activities have more momentum, more sensitive and changeable than theory. Lu Yun also likes Zhang Xiangbei very much. When she has important activities, she also likes to take Zhang Xiangbei as her assistant. Xiao Fang saw that Lu Yun liked Zhang Xiangbei so much. She said to Lu Yun, "Since you like Bei so much, just be his godmother." "Okay, as long as Zhang Chen is willing." Lu Yun shouted. Xiao Fang called Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen immediately said yes, "If Lu Yun can take him, your sister will be very happy if she knows." The matter was settled like this. When Zhang Xiangbei saw Lu Yun again, he called her godmother. Not only did Lu Yun take him with him in China, but when he returned to the United States, Zhang Xiangbei would come to the airport when Lu Yun went to the United States. After picking her up, Lu Yun would also take Zhang Xiangbei with her when attending meetings or events with shareholders, which was an eye-opener for Zhang Xiangbei. This summer vacation, Zhang Xiangbei is very busy. In addition to growing vegetables and practicing boxing, he also attends various activities with Lu Yun and Xiao Fang. When he has time, he also drives to Yongcheng. Xiangnan is always happy to see him coming. Several times, Xiangnan called and urged Zhang to go to Xiangbei. Under the Yongcheng Wu Opera Troupe, there is now not only a theater troupe, but also a cinema, hotel, supermarket, and property management center. The company's financial management tasks are very heavy, and Xiangnan doesn't know much about this, and he doesn't want to ask her mom, ask Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen didn't know much about this, so he asked Xiangnan to ask Xiao Fang. Xiao Fang was too busy, and Xiangnan felt embarrassed to bother her all the time. Zhang Xiangbei is back, that's good, she can mobilize him. Zhang Xiangbei separated the finance of each unit below, centralized management, and built the company's financial department into a department similar to Zhang Chen's Banmuishan Group Financial Center. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan said, "This way you can, as long as you manage this department well, you can even manage a financial director well. A company, no matter how big it is, will not have major problems as long as there are no financial problems. The company exists to make money, and there are only two ways to make money. One is to generate revenue externally, and the other is to increase efficiency internally. The internal management of the company is most effective when it is refined and assessed using financial management methods. It is also the most intuitive management method." As Zhang Xiangbei rambled on, Xiangnan kept nodding. Thank you to book friends 201704150958555427, book friends 202103231848393332, Zhengji, for the reward of reading 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, and reading books every day. Thank you book friend 201704150958555427, book friend 202101161219158804, Yuan Wang, Stinky Socks, Zipanjiang 1, Drink Lover, LW. Nori, Lang 68, Yuxiang 2, Freedom After Rain, Clear Sky, Woodzicking, Broken Dreams in the Void, Crooked Sky, No Confusion Articles, Luo Wuchin One Flower One World, Don't Take It Too Seriously, Major 7, Mike, Book Friends 201906061314333385, Book Friends 201809062232049334S Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1793. Zhang Xiangbei drove his car and came out of the logistics space. He asked Sun Xiangyang, "I want to go to Yongcheng, will you go? If you don't go, I'll throw you at the BRT station and you can take the BRT back by yourself. I won't go into the city." Go, Yongcheng is such a fun place, of course I'm going," Sun Xiangyang shouted. "By the way, I won't disturb you if I go. What are you disturbing? Zhang Xiangbei asked. You and Xiangnan are humming. Go away, Xiangnan is my sister, Zhang Xiangbei cursed. Come on, you guys are not siblings, so what if you are your sister? It just so happens that we have a sibling relationship, Sun Xiangyang shouted. If I told you, you should take advantage of Li Go's absence and strike first. Cook the raw rice into cooked rice, otherwise when you go back to the United States and come back to Hangzhou, he will take advantage of you. You, Zhang Xiangbei cursed. My mother has been gone a long time ago. If you don't move quickly and follow the licking dog carefully to the south, you will regret it before it's too late. After Sun Xiangyang finished speaking, he looked at Zhang Xiangbei and continued. The situation is very serious. Don't let it be unforeseen. That day at Liago's house, I went to the bathroom and saw Liago and Xiangnan. I didn't know what they were talking about. They were talking very affectionately. Let them make out. Zhang Xiangbei said, but he felt very uncomfortable and a little irritated. He himself couldn't tell clearly what kind of emotion this was between him and Xiangnan. Is it family affection or the affection between a man and a woman? If it was called family affection, it would have been a long time ago. It was already there. It was a relationship between a man and a woman. Zhang Xiangbei felt vaguely that it hadn't reached that stage yet. Anyway, the only thing that hasn't changed since he was a child is that he likes to be with Xiangnan very much. When he was a child, he was the real licking dog. He followed Xiangnan and the others all day long, and he also gave them rubber bands when they danced. As a pillar, until now, every time he comes back from the United States, his first thought is to go to Yongcheng to see Xiangnan. Zhang Xiangbei felt that he was very relaxed when he was with Xiangnan. There was another thing that Zhang Xiangbei refused to admit, which was that he felt very safe. When he was a child, Xiangnan was not always the one protecting him in school. As he grew up, Zhang Xiangbei also felt that he was a little attached to Xiangnan. When he was with other women, Zhang Xiangbei didn't seem to have such a feeling. Even because of Xiangnan, Zhang Xiangbei was a bit slow in terms of men and women, and the boundaries were not so clear. He had never been like most of his peers. People like that, what kind of desire would they have for the opposite sex, especially for their bodies? On the contrary, when he was with them, he was very casual, the kind of casualness that ignored gender. His casualness does not make people feel oppressed, but gives them a sense of intimacy, which makes him very popular among girls. They all think that he is not a cunning and petty person, and they are easy to deal with. When we are together, we are safe. Zhang Xiangbei's attitude once misunderstood some girls, thinking that he was special to them and was deliberately approaching and catering to them. However, when they decided to accept him and were ready to go further, they found that he did not follow. He took a step closer, but kept standing still. This confused them, and then they sadly discovered that he was like this to all girls, and they were the ones who got it wrong. There has always been a woman in Zhang Xiangbei's heart, and this woman is Xiangnan. Although he himself cannot tell clearly who Xiangnan is to him, anyway, he just feels that if a man is destined to be with a woman, they have been together since childhood, he was born with a woman, and he is already used to it. The same seems to be true for Xiangnan. The two of them talk about everything, even the most secretive things. For example, Xiangnan suffers from menstrual cramps during her menstrual period. She will not tell her grandmother, but just let her know. Zhang Xiangbei went to help her make some brown sugar water. She would tell Zhang Xiangbei straightforwardly that her relatives were here and her stomach hurt. When she was with other men, Xiangnan would definitely be ashamed to say such things. The two people have been together for such a long time, and it seems that they are too familiar with each other, and there is nothing to hide. When Zhang Xiangbei came to Yongcheng, he always lived in Xiangnan's house, just like his own home. He was used to living in their house. If something happened to Xiangnan, he would knock on Zhang Xiangbei's door when he got up in the morning without even washing his face and looking disheveled. And Zhang Xiangbei also wanted to see Xiang Nan for something. He walked over and knocked on the door. Before Xiang Nan could say please come in, Zhang Xiangbei opened the door and came in. After entering, even though Xiang Nan was sitting on the bed under the quilt, he would also walk directly over, sit behind Xiang Nan's feet, lean against the wall, and the two of them would sit on the bed and chat. Even Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan were not surprised by it. They had been like this since they were children. Their habits had not changed, but they were getting older day by day. The most important thing is that although the adults have never said it, even Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan used to joke about asking Xiang Nan to be his wife, but they don't do it anymore. The adults don't say it, but if they the two themselves came over and told them that they wanted to be together, and none of the adults would object. Anyway, they used to feel like a family, but now they just became a regular family. Tan Shahan knew that if Lu Ligan were here, not only would he not object to Xiang Nan and Xiangbei being together, but he would encourage them to be together. Yes, for Tan Shahan, she knows Zhang Xiangbei, Zhang Chen, and Xiao Fang, and even his parents too well. Her daughter has been their family since she was a child. What should she worry about when handing her daughter over to them? Yes, if her daughter finds someone on her own who she doesn't even know about, then that's what she has to worry about. Zhang Xiangbei drove along Hanghai Road to Zhejiang Road. He drove straight along Zhejiang Road. Zhang Xiangbei asked Sun Xiangyang, "You are going to Yongcheng with me without telling Lao Sun? Old Sun can't take care of me now. He is passionately in love with a teacher in their school," Sun Xiangyang said. "Hey, fatty, you don't care about such a big thing?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "I don't care, I'm worried," Sun Xiangyang said. "Worried? What are you worried about? These two people talk every day but don't practice. I feel anxious when I see them. I'm worried that the thing under Lao Sun will malfunction if it hasn't been used for so long." Zhang Xiangbei laughed loudly, and Sun Xiangyang said, "Really, Zhang Xiangbei, let me tell you, I am very happy that someone can fall in love with Lao Sun. We are all men. Think about it, Lao Sun has not touched a woman for so long. Isn't it a bit miserable?" Zhang Xiangbei nodded and said, "Okay, anyway, when I heard that my dad and Aunt Xiaofang were together, I was quite happy for him." Zhang Xiangbei said, reaching out and patting Sun Xiangyang, and said to him, "Damn fat man, you still have a conscience. I didn't waste my time raising you as both a father and a mother. I am now looking forward to graduating soon and finding a job, so that Lao Sun can be completely liberated." Sun Xiangyang said, "I told Lao Sun the day before yesterday. I said, if Aunt Jo, that woman named Jo, I told Lao Sun that if Aunt Jo dislikes having one more person in the house, I can live in the school dormitory and completely free up the house for you." "What did Lao Sun say?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "What can I say?" Sun Xiangyang said angrily. "Old Sun said that if any woman dares to despise my son, I will kick her out." Zhang Xiangbei looked at Sun Xiangyang, but didn't say what he wanted to say. The car passed the Liuhe Pagoda, then passed the intersection of Dehuayuan, and drove forward until it reached a three-way intersection. "Go straight to Songcheng, turn left, and cross the bridge to Xuantang. After Xuantang, you will reach the south of Hangcheng. At the entrance of the expressway, Zhang Xiangbei turned left. The renovation of the offices and rehearsal halls of the Wu Opera Troupe in Yongcheng Center has not yet been completely completed. Xiangnan's office has been moved to the new building, mainly because it is convenient here and it is convenient for her to visit every floor at any time. It is also convenient for Su Jianmei and Xiang Xiang to come to her. Otherwise, she would have to run from Zhejiang Technical School every day and she would have to make countless trips. Ding Yusong is still at the Western Zhejiang Technical School. Just like last year, the troupe no longer rehearses at this time. Instead, they have a holiday and let everyone take their children to travel. You must know that when they go out to perform, they don't have many days off. Taking a break from time to time can be considered as compensation for everyone. Ding Yusong still stays in the troupe because other people in the troupe are on vacation and the student class is not in session. Also, the new recruits this year are also coming to report one after another. Xiang Nan and Ding Yusong divided the work. Xiang Nan worked hard on the new building. Ding Yusong was responsible for the affairs of the group, including after Xia who returned to Taiwan, the cultural foundation under Fubon Financial Holdings called Ding Yusong, and worked with him to implement the arrangements for the Yongchengwu Opera Troupe to perform in Taiwan. Going to perform in Taiwan is not like touring in China, where you can just leave at once, but in mainland China and Taiwan. Both parties have to apply to the relevant units and get their approval, and the procedures are very cumbersome. Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang walked into Xiangnan's office and were surprised to find Zhou Ruyi here, half lying on the sofa with her arms and legs crossed. Zhang Xiangbei said hey and asked Zhou Ruyi, "Why are you here?" "Why, you can come to this place, but I can't." "You don't want to go to work?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "Boss, I work for the country. Today is Saturday. The country will not deprive us of our rest day." Xiangnan looked at Zhou Ruyi, and said to Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang, "You two, can you help me lift this old lady up and throw her out? I won't chase her away." Zhang Xiangbei smiled and asked, "What's wrong with her?" "What an old lady. She has been here from the front for several hours, and she is just lying here like a dead person. She doesn't care about the comings and goings of people here. She refuses to sit still even if I ask her to do so," Xiang Nan said. Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang laughed. With a bang sound, Zhou Ruyi suddenly reached out and slapped the sofa, startling them. She stood up and cursed. "I have never seen a woman who values sex over friends. Now that Zhang Xiangbei is here, she is going to drive me out. Let's go, fat man, go shopping with me and leave some space for them." "What's wrong with you? The sun is blazing outside," Sun Xiangyang said. Zhou Ruyi pulled his clothes and took him out of the door, saying, "What's wrong with the scorching sun? With a young woman like me accompanying you, damn fat man, even if you jump into a fire pit, you should still feel the shade." Sun Xiangyang chuckled, "Okay, I feel the dark wind gusting and a demon is coming." Zhou Ruyi clicked on the back of his head. "Thank you ZDLM001 for the tip. Thank you for your monthly votes from Evergreen Yan Dotty, Piao Lingyi Mayfly, Yunlong Frogfish, Captain Jim, Ltself, Water Chestnut in the Lake, Daos Hung 123, Daodu, Kanchan Shui, Lao Shenza Sang. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1794. The summer vacation was coming to an end, and Zhang Xiangbei was going back to the United States. This time, he drove to the south and went to Shanghai Pudong Airport to see him off with Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang. After checking in, it was still early. The four of them grabbed a table in the cafe in the check-in hall, sat down and took a sip of coffee. Zhou Ruyi said to Sun Xiangyang, "Damn you, fat man, go shopping with me. I sit all day when I go to work every day. When I get here, I still sit. It's so boring." "No, you have to go by yourself," Sun Xiangyang said. "Do you really want me to help you?" Zhou Ruyi asked, and at the same time kicked Sun Xiangyang under the table. Sun Xiangyang quickly said, okay, you used your trump card again, I will accompany you." Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan laughed. Zhou Ruyi picked up Zhang Xiangbei's backpack and put it on her seat. This cafe in the check-in hall is the only cafe with many customers. After placing the bag, there were 2 cups of coffee on the table, and there were 2 dead men with mouths opposite them. No one would come to occupy these 2 positions, Zhou Ruyi thought. The trump card Sun Xiangyang mentioned was that he was going to be a senior in college and needed to find an internship unit. Zhou Ruyi promised him to talk to her father and ask her father to help Sun Xiangyang. Which police station in Hangzhou would be the best place to go to? Fatty Sun, as long as he performs well there, Zhou Ruyi's father, Zhou Bin, and Tan Shehen will help with activities, and he can stay at the police station. Instead of being like most of the graduates from their school, they either go to the lower counties or work as urban management officials who are disliked by everyone. Zhang Xiangbei's father, Zhang Chen, couldn't count on this kind of thing. He didn't know how to ask for help. Although it would be most useful if he was really willing to ask for help, even Zhang Xiangbei said that there was no chance of asking for help from his father. Both Xiang Nan and Zhou Ruyi were confident that their mothers and fathers would help. Zhou Ruyi's father, Zhou Bin, was now the director of the Industrial and Commercial Bureau of Hangzhou City. It should be easy to ask friends to help arrange an internship at the police station. Zhou Bin had actually agreed to his daughter's request, but Zhou Ruyi felt that it was better not to tell Fatty Sun until the matter was finalized, in case there was an accident, and Fatty Sun's joy would be in vain. Fatty Sun's whereabouts after graduation is now a big deal for these friends. Unlike Zhang Xiangbei, he doesn't have to worry about his future. Old Sun doesn't have much energy and can only rely on his friends. Don't blame them. To be so snobbish and sophisticated at such a young age is because society has taught them that it is impossible not to use all available resources in this way. Fatty Sun has no resources of his own, so he can only rely on the resources of these brothers and sisters. In today's crazy society, one really has to start from strength in order to find a smooth path. Children from ordinary families do not have no path, but their paths have been taken away by other people. Fatty Sun was a little worried about his own future. He really wanted to have a stable job after leaving school, so that he could move out and completely give up his home to Old Sun. Time waits for no one, and Old Sun will not take action. It really can only be read at sunset. Zhou Ruyi, Xiangnan, and Zhang Xiangbei all know about Sun Xianjiang's situation. Zhang Xiangbei also knows that his father is a bit of a serious person and does not ask for help easily. Even if it is for him, he may not open his mouth. Let alone for Sun Xiangyang. Zhang Xiangbei could imagine what he would say. He would tell Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang not to take the wrong path. Taking the wrong path can help you win once by chance, but you cannot win every time. To survive in this society, you still have to rely on your own strength. Zhang Xiangbei imagined that he would next say that he didn't have anything at that time, or that he had reached this point now, and he didn't know. Dad, this world is no longer your world. You people have already taken up all the space in this world, and there is not even a crack left for us. Even if we work 10 times harder, we still can't. It's useless. You are just drawing on a piece of white paper. We have to overthrow the mountains you have placed on us before we can stand out. Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang said, "It's okay, it's okay. If Zhou Ruyi's place doesn't work, I'll call my aunt Xiaofang and ask her to help." When Zhang Xiangbei said this, he was actually thinking of Lu Qing. He felt that Aunt Xiaofang and Aunt Lu Qing were more knowledgeable about the world than his father, and they would understand Sun Xianjiang's needs. Xiang Nan also said, "If it doesn't work, I'll go and beg my mother." "Stop it, you two," Zhou Ruyi said, "I have given my father an ultimatum. I told him that if you can't help with such a small thing, your job as director will be in vain. My daughter, I can't go out. There's no way to see anyone." Sun Xiangyang followed Zhou Ruyi out of the coffee shop. The two of them looked around. In the entire check-in hall, except for check-in islands and long queues of various races, there was no place to go. Those shops were not in downstairs, you have to go through a long passage in another building. Where are we going? Sun Xiangyang asked. How do I know? Zhou Ruyi said. I'm going, but you still call me out? Then let's go back, Sun Xiangyang said. Are you a humming pig? Zhou Ruyi scolded. We're almost saying goodbye, and people might be hugging each other and crying, and you still want to be a light bulb by the side. Sun Xiangyang understood and smiled. Xiang Nan and Zhang Xiangbei were sitting there. Before they could hug each other and cry, a young foreigner man and woman came over with a plastic tray in their hands. They came for Sun Xianjiang's empty seat. When they got there, they realized that there was still more than half a cup of coffee on the seat, and the two of them stood there feeling a little embarrassed. Looking around, there were no other seats. Zhang Xiangbei quickly took away his bag from Zhou Ruyi's seat. Xiangnan also moved their 2 cups of coffee to his half of the table. Zhang Xiangbei said to the foreigner in English, "Please sit down." The 2 foreigners quickly said thank you, put the tray down. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan both secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This summer vacation is different from the past. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang are not sure what is going on. The two of them always use words to tease Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan, and must let them be together. At first, Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan were a little nervous. It's strange, we have been together since childhood, do you still need to say that? The two people then made it clear that they wanted them to be together with their boyfriend and girlfriend. This made Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan a little cautious. Someone was always reminding them that they were not biological siblings. It was impossible for them not to realize this. After realizing this, the two of them began to feel a little shy. When they were alone together, Zhang Xiangbei's hand became more trustworthy. He would no longer reach out and take Xiang Nan's hand as he was used to before. Xiang Nan would also hold his hand naturally. Now when his hands touch each other, they will be separated like an electric shock, and their hearts will beat wildly. The two of them no longer talk about everything, and most of it is nonsense, as they did before. Now, when they talk, some words have to be carefully considered, and as they talk, they don't know what to say, and each other's hearts will feel a little depressed. Even when they came to see off Zhang Xiangbei today, Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang also called to Xiangnan to come together. She didn't know why, but she felt that it would be a little embarrassing if she and Zhang Xiangbei were the only two people here. Just now, Zhou Ruyi took Sun Xiangyang out, and they were left alone. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan suddenly became nervous. Fortunately, these two foreigners came, and they quickly gave up their seats to them. But when the two foreigners sat down, they felt even more embarrassed. These two foreigners were obviously a couple. After sitting down, their heads touched each other as if no one else was watching. They got up and kissed each other from time to time, completely ignoring the other side of the table. And two people were sitting there. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan sat there, neither looking at them nor looking at them. The two could only lower their heads and stare at the coffee in front of them. Xiangnan put a spoon into the coffee and stirred it gently. Listening, relying on this to divert one's attention. The two foreigners were not only naked in their movements, but also in their voices. What was terrible was that the distance was so close that Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan couldn't even hear them. Xiangnan could only hear a general idea, not completely knowing what they were saying. What? But you don't need to hear the intonation of Yingyanyan clearly, but Zhang Xiangbei can even hear clearly what they are saying. Zhang Xiangbei, you have to take care of yourself when you go back to the United States, do you understand? After a long time, Xiangnan finally found something to say. Zhang Xiangbei said yes. From what I can see on TV and online, the United States is still very chaotic, with robberies and shootings everywhere. You still have to pay attention to safety, Xiang Nan said. Zhang Xiangbei smiled and said, actually, it's not that chaotic. From the American media, it seems that the country is also very chaotic. There are protests and so on everywhere. Is that true? Don't be a talker, don't be brave, just remember to pay attention, do you understand? Xiang Nan said. Zhang Xiangbei said, I understand. Zhang Xiangbei originally wanted to say, I understand, sister, but the word sister came to his lips and he couldn't come out. Also, don't always think about making money. Uncle won't give you the money. He sent you out to study, not to make money. You still have to put study first. Do you understand? Oh, I see. The two people sat there, just like that. Xiang Nan kept explaining things, and Zhang Xiangbei kept answering. Although the two foreigners sitting opposite could not hear clearly what they were saying, they asked each other. The serious look on his face attracted their curiosity. They looked at Xiang Nan and Zhang Xiangbei and smiled slightly. Maybe they feel strange, what on earth are this Chinese couple doing? Xiangnan's face turned red, and Zhang Xiangbei cursed in his heart, what a laugh. Thank you to Quadratic VC, for reading books every day, 2 fishes for 1 fish, and for the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you, it's past 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, I forgot my password and started over, sand dust mood, dachuan, and how, hurry is too smart, Xiao daddy, book friends 202011091113511923, Xiang J, no future, just remember the original intention, PCM 600812, Midnight Wu GEC, Swayo learns to sing, Mike, Hydrogen Oxide Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Dragon, Book Friends, 201911021135464718, Book Friends 2018090622320494, Dong Long Dong, Gongzimian Z, Tamagotchi, and Qian Dad's monthly tickets. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1795. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang looked at the time and came back. Zhou Ruyi saw the two foreigners at a glance and cursed. What the hell, we moved out of the way on purpose, and here come these two ignorant foreign light bulbs. The two foreigners saw them coming, knew that this was their seat, and wanted to stand up. Zhang Xiangbei quickly told them to let them sit down. He had almost time to go through the security check. Zhou Ruyi said, let them stand up. I will sit down even if I sit down for a second. Xiang Nan stood up, glared at Zhou Ruyi, and said to her, come on, this is for you. You can sit down for 50 seconds. The four people walked out and walked to the security checkpoint. There was a long queue at the security checkpoint. Zhou Ruyi patted Sun Xiangyang and told him, let's go queue up for Zhang Xiangbei. The two people threw Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan outside the queue, and they lined up. Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan stood there, not knowing what to say. Or Xiangnan said, Zhang Xiangbei, do you remember what I said to you earlier? Zhang Xiangbei said he remembered. If you dare to forget, I will ignore you, Xiang Nan said. Zhang Xiangbei said quickly, I will not forget it. Call me when you get to New York, do you know? When I arrived in New York, it was already past 1 o'clock in the evening, Zhang Xiangbei said. It doesn't matter what time it is. Zhang Xiangbei said okay, I understand. The team was moving very fast, and when they saw that they were almost there, Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan said, then I'm leaving. Xiangnan lowered his head and said Zhang Xiangbei walked away and just took a step. Xiangnan suddenly pulled him. Zhang Xiangbei looked back. Xiangnan's eyes were already red. Zhang Xiangbei's heart, as soon as he moved, he took 2 steps back, and the two couldn't help but hug each other. Zhang Xiangbei, Zhang Xiangbei. Sun Xiangyang shouted. Zhou Ruyi kicked him. Sun Xiangyang said aggrievedly, it was almost there. You're so incomprehensible to me. Will you die if you try again? Zhou Ruyi scolded. Sun Xiangyang chuckled. The two people over there heard Sun Xiangjiang's cry. Xiangnan let go of Zhang Xiangbei, and said to him, "Go quickly." Zhang Xiangbei responded with an ouch and ran towards Sun Xiangyang and the others, followed by Xiangnan. Zhou Ruyi cursed. "Damn fat man, it's all you. The show has just started and it's about to end with kiss." Lu Ligan was lying on the deck chair on the terrace. Now there was no grape trellis above his head, but a glass roof. Grapevines spread on the glass roof, still covering the entire terrace in a green lawn. The windows facing the reservoir are wide open, and the door behind is also wide open. The cool air from the air conditioner blows out from the door, making people feel even cooler. In the small living room at the back, a 5-horsepower cabinet air conditioner was installed in an exaggerated manner, blowing out air conditioning. Wenwen and Qian fell asleep leaning on the armrest of the sofa. If the door hadn't been left wide open, they would have been frozen, so it was just right. What are they afraid of wasting electricity? They generate all their own electricity. The turbines are spinning in circles and the electricity is flowing out continuously. Are they still worried about wasting electricity? The hydroelectric generator of the power plant below has been renovated. Every month, power generation alone can bring them 800,000 to 900,000 yuan in income. All hydropower stations, regardless of size, require large initial investment. Once completed, after that, the operating costs are very low. Apart from labor wages and some normal machine maintenance costs, there are no other expenses. And their biggest investment, such as land acquisition and dam construction, was omitted. They only invested the minimum. In the original generator room, the cost of replacing the hydraulic generator did not actually invest much. The hydroelectric generator is new, as is the power transmission and transformation equipment. Failures rarely occur. Now they have only 6 people in the entire hydropower shift. They operate in 4 shifts and 3. When the hydroelectric generator starts to generate electricity, 2 people in 1 shift. When the power is shut down at night, only 1 person in the entire power generation workshop can be on duty. Their houseboats have finally been lined up around the reservoir. In the middle of summer like this, it is still hard to find a room. Even the hotel behind is basically full every day. Most of the tourists who come here at this time of year are traveling with their families. Parents of children. There are more and more projects in the reservoir area. In addition to swimming, bumper boats, motorboats, and hot air balloons, Lu Ligan also added rowing boats and diving projects. Although the bottom of the reservoir is no better than the ocean, there is nothing below. Watch. Lu Ligan thought of a way. He went to the bank and exchanged a lot of $1 coins engraved with the image of American feminist movement activist Susan Anthony. He threw them into the water and asked everyone to pick them up under the water. As many as they picked up. Be yours. Think about it, if you touch one, it costs more than 6 yuan in RMB, and many people are eager to touch it. The most important thing is that it is interesting. Touching the US dollar, and the US dollar is stronger than the RMB, is how fun it is. The rock climbing venue in the reservoir has also been built. This sport that everyone usually watches on TV is very scary. Now here, it is not scary at all. If you fall, there is water below, and there are lifeguards to protect you. What's so scary about it? Yes, this project attracted a lot of tourists, and some parents also went rock climbing with their children. Lao Wei and his engineering team had finished building the last batch of houseboats. They asked Lu Ligan what they were going to do next. Lu Ligan asked them to go on and erect 3-meter-long poles on the surrounding mountains and along the edge of their territory. How long is the iron pipe, and then a net made of nylon rope that is not easy to rot and is very strong is installed on the iron pipe. The height of the fence is also more than 3 meters. Lao Wei and Wenwen Qian didn't know what he was going to do. Wenwen asked, Are you afraid that someone would escape your order, so you ran away from the mountain? Lu Ligan said, I'm not afraid of people, I'm afraid of wild boars and foxes. There should be wild boars and foxes in the mountains around here, right? It's none of your business. Are you still afraid that the vixen will come and charm you? Qian asked. Lu Ligan scolded, the opinions of women and children are not worth mentioning. Qian glared at him, and Lu Ligan turned around and said to Lao Wei, just do as I say, and I'll tell you what to use it for after you're done. Going out from the gate of Hongling Reservoir, there is a small river on one side and a barren slope on the other side. This barren slope belongs to Wen Wen and Qian from the village next door. Lu Ligan asked his cousin to come forward and help them negotiate with the village next door. Finally, he bought this barren slope for 350,000 yuan. Of course, like the mountain forest, he also bought the right to use it for 40 years. This right to use is the same as the mountain forest. In fact, you can continue to use it. You just need to spend a little money to change the certificate. This barren slope is not a mountain forest. The weeds and trees on it can be cut down and reclaimed for use. Nowadays, no one is cultivating the serious rice fields in the countryside. Wen Wen and Qian don't know that Lu Ligan is left there. What's the use of buying this piece of land? This barren slope may not look big, but after it is leveled, it will cover more than 70 acres. Lu Ligan asked Lao Wei to arrange for some people to go over and level it. Lu Ligan and Wen Wen Qian said, don't you think it will be a problem to deal with those things in our septic tank next? Those are all good things. I am going to expand our vegetable plot and build an organic vegetable garden here. Nervous, can we finish eating such a big vegetable field by ourselves? Are we going to feed you like a pig? Qian scolded. Lu Ligan smiled and said, you can sell it if you can't finish it. You're right, we can really raise a few pigs. There is a place for so much kitchen waste in the hotel every day. These organic vegetables are so good now we can sell things to Chenzhou, Changsha and Guangzhou. By the way, you have nothing to do anyway, so you can go to Daibao to sell them online. Brother Zhang Chen sells clothes online and the sales are very good. We can sell vegetables and chickens. Selling chickens. Where can we get chickens? Wen Wen asked. Lu Ligan knew that he had spilled the beans, so he told Wen Wen and Qian his plan. After the fence on the surrounding mountain tops was completed, we could raise chickens on this mountain, completely free range, and authentic organic chickens. There is no problem in raising 300,000 to 400,000 chickens in such a large area of mountain forest. From now on, in our fish restaurant, we will not only have fish as a signature dish, but also have local chicken stew as a signature dish. Hearing what Lu Ligan said, Wen Wen and Qian became excited. Lu Ligan stood up, walked to the window and looked outside. The sun made the water in the entire reservoir white. It was now more than 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun was still very fierce, but even so, he could not stop it. There are not many people playing in the reservoir. Lu Ligan watched for a while, then walked back, picked up the tea jar on the stool next to the lounge chair, took a sip of water, put down the tea jar, and walked into the living room. He saw Wen Wen and Qian lying on the sofa, one on the left and the other on the right, like an inverted figure. He wanted to go over and kick them, and then he wanted to sit down between them suddenly and wake them up. He thought, I think it's better to forget it. It's better not to start a fight in such hot weather. Lu Ligan walked back to the terrace. When he passed the stool next to the lounge chair, he picked up the ashtray on the stool, walked to the window, and placed the ashtray on the window sill. Lu Ligan stood up and finished smoking a cigarette, put out the cigarette butt in the ashtray, walked back to the living room, opened the door to the living room, and walked out, closing the door gently. Thank you, I love purple. Why can't I change my name? Yin's Hirong's monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1796. Lu Ligan went downstairs, past the fish restaurant in front, and walked to the end of the shade of trees, which is where a wall and gate were originally erected. The wall and gate had been demolished long ago. Lu Ligan once thought, should we keep the wall with the words "grasp the revolution and promote production and prepare for war and prepare for famine for the people," and finally demolish it? Since you want to change this place, then make it more thorough. Lu Ligan stood there, looking at the people playing in the reservoir below and the road on top of the dam that was haloed by the sun. The road on top of the embankment turned out to be made of tamp soil. It was very slippery in rainy and snowy days. Lu Ligan was worried about tourists slipping here, so he asked Lao Wei to pave a 2-meter-long road with burnt stones. For such a wide road, grass seeds are scattered on both sides of the road. After the grass grows, 2 green belts are formed on both sides of the road. The sun has already heated the fireboard to a boil. If a basin of water is poured onto the stone board at this time, the stone board will definitely smoke. In an instant, the water will evaporate, and even the last bit of water stain will quickly disappear. Lu Ligan thought for a while, and walked onto the road on top of the embankment despite the scorching sun above his head. After walking for a while, he felt a slight sting on his face, exposed arms and back. Lu Ligan let go. He slowed down his pace. According to his own experience, the more you are under such a bright sun, the less you can move, but to cool down your heart. From below the embankment, the sounds of people playing on the water were heard, shouting and screaming. Lu Ligan looked at the green water below and wanted to just lie down and roll down from the top of the embankment until he plop fell into the water with a sound. But it can only be thought about. Sweat flowed down his face, his back was already soaked, and his t-shirt was sticky against his skin. Lu Ligan thought in his mind to slow down, but he subconsciously speeded up his pace. His eyes looked at the green patch at the end of the road. There is their vegetable garden. The entire vegetable garden is surrounded by a bamboo fence. There is a door, but it is open all year round. Before Lu Ligan reached the door of the vegetable garden, he smelled a faint smell of manure. This is what manure is like. It smells bad when it's strong, but if it's really light and blends with the smell of grass, it's fragrant. Every morning, before the sun reaches the top of the mountain, workers have to fertilize the vegetable fields. In the evening, when the sun is about to set, they have to water the vegetable fields. At noon, the workers have nothing to do. I saw 5 or 6 shirtless workers sitting or lying under the loofah rack to rest. The loofah stand was at the height of his forehead. Lu Ligan bent down and got in. The wind was blowing inside and it was indescribably cool. When a worker saw Lu Ligan coming, he quickly gave him the bamboo chair he was sitting on. He reached out and pulled out a handful of loofah leaves, threw them on the ground, and sat down. The 2 workers lying on a broken straw mat also sat up. "It's cooler here. I just walked over the embankment and it was so hot," Lu Ligan said. Someone quickly handed over a large teapot filled with soy sauce-colored herbal tea. Lu Lipol took it and drank several large sips. He was satisfied and let out a long sigh of relief. Lu Ligan took out the cigarettes from his pocket, passed them around, and lit them for them, and everyone started bragging about them. The workers here all know that Lu Ligan is a man who has seen the world and has great abilities. They all admire him and like to listen to his bragging, and Lu Ligan never tires of it. A former worker from Hongling Power Plant is now a planting team leader here. He said to Lu Ligan with emotion, "Mr. Lu, if it had been a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed it. In this day and age, there would still be so many people coming to play in this place where nothing matters." Someone echoed, "Yes, in the entire Ningyuan County, we are not the only one with a reservoir like ours, but our place has been turned into a scenic spot, and so many people will come." "It's not like Mr. Lu is capable," the captain said. Lu Ligan smiled, What do I have the ability to do? What I do is just discover the value of this place, and then dig it out. Whether it is jade or agate, when it is buried underground, it is a stone, someone finds it, it is polished and carved, and it becomes a gemstone. That means Mr. Liu has great vision, the captain said. Okay, your flattery makes sense. I accepted, Liu Ligan said, and everyone laughed. Liu Ligan sat here for more than an hour, bragging with everyone for more than an hour. After all the cigarettes on his body were distributed and all the sweat was collected, he stood up and told them, "You continue to rest, and I will play again." Lock up. "Mr. Liu, are you going to see those girls in swimsuits?" someone shouted, and everyone laughed. Liu Ligan said, "Yes, why don't you go see such a beautiful thing and sit here to enjoy the coolness?" "I don't want to go. It looks so hard down there. I feel so sad and sad. In this kind of weather, I can shoot myself with a pistol and sweat all over myself." The man replied, and Liu Ligan gave him a thumbs up, "It's better that you think clearly." Mr. Liu doesn't dare. "If he dares, Wen Wen and Qian will tear him apart," the captain said, and everyone burst into laughter. Liu Ligan left them with a smile. He walked to the door of the vegetable garden and saw the white road on the top of the embankment. Liu Ligan no longer had the courage to walk back. He walked along the greenway beside the reservoir and walked inside. Since he was idle anyway, he planned to walk around the reservoir and back to the small building where he lived. Along the way, we passed the doorways of houseboats. It was a hot day and every door was closed, but we could hear the sound of mahjong playing and the sound of men and women singing loudly from inside. The sound was blocked by wooden partitions. After filtering, only human voices came through, which sounded a bit sharp and harsh. In the innermost part of the reservoir, there is a viewing platform built on the water. Half of the platform is open air, and the other half has a shed built with waterproof rough canvas on top. There are 5 or 6 tables scattered in the shed, except for one. There were 2 men and 2 women playing cards at the table, and the electric fan next to them was blowing wind toward them. There was a woman with a pretty face, especially when the wind lifted her bangs on her forehead, she looked a bit touching. Liu Ligan glanced at her a few more times. The woman seemed to have noticed that Liu Ligan was there. Looking at her, Liu Ligan rolled his eyes. Liu Li laughed loudly and turned around. Next to the viewing platform, there was a canteen. The little girl in the canteen fell asleep with her head on the glass counter, drooling on the counter. Liu Ligan tapped the counter twice with his fingers. The little girl woke up suddenly. Seeing Liu Ligan, she quickly sat up straight and shouted, "Mr. Liu." Liu Ligan pointed at the corner of his mouth. The little girl understood, and quickly wiped away the saliva from the corner of his mouth with the back of his hand. Then he saw the puddle on the glass, and then wiped it with the palm of his hand. Liu Ligan shouted, "Awesome, are you going to do this to yourself?" The little girl giggled and blushed a little. Liu Ligan said, "Bring me a pack of cigarettes." The little girl quickly got him a pack of Zonghua, and Liu Ligan said, "Give me another bottle of water." The little girl asked, "Do you want some ice?" "Nonsense, what do you think?" Liu Ligan asked back. The little girl giggled and took a bottle of ice water from the refrigerator to him. Liu Ligan took out a $100 bill to pay. While waiting for change, he saw the freezer next to him and asked, "What kind of ice cream is delicious?" "Pad food." "Okay, then give me 2 big feet," Liu Ligan said. The little girl took out a 10 yuan note from the money in her hand and put it back in the drawer. She gave the others to Liu Lipol. Then she took out 2 ice cream cones from the freezer. Liu Lipol took one of them and shared it with the little girl. The girl said, "There's one more, please." The little girl quickly said thank you to Mr. Liu. With water in one hand and ice cream in the other, Liu Ligan left the viewing platform and continued walking along the greenway. Liu Ligan came to a fork in the road. At this intersection, There was a road branching out. There were stone steps. From this stone road, you could reach the top of the cliff where you were climbing. Luligan left. Take the greenway around the reservoir and climb up this stone road up the mountain. After walking for 5 or 6 minutes, there was another fork in the road in front of us. The road that branched out was a yellow mud mountain road. This mountain road was opened by Lao Wei and the others. From here, you can go all the way to the top of the mountain. Luligan gave up the idea of going to the top of the cliff and climbed up along the mountain road. He wanted to see how the nylon net fence of Lao Wei and his friends was doing. Luli climbed the pole for more than half an hour before he reached the top of the mountain. To his surprise, there was no one here. The iron pipes here had been erected and the nylon nets had been installed. It looked old. Wei and the others have finished their work here and have gone to other places to continue construction. Luligan saw a raised hill, which should be the highest point here. Luligan walked towards the hill. At the highest point of the hill, under 3 tall mason pines, there was a huge boulder as tall as a person. Luligan walked over and climbed onto the rock. The huge crown of mason pine above his head cast a shadow in front of and behind him, and Luligan sat down. Looking down from here, you can have a panoramic view of the entire reservoir, including the dike and the power generation workshop under the dike, as well as the parking lot and the river outside the gate. Luligan saw the barren mountain outside the gate. An excavator was moving back and forth, using its powerful bucket to dig into the barren mountain. The glass on the cab flickered in the sunlight. Luligan looked at it, and suddenly he felt panicked. He thought that when this barren mountain was transformed into a vegetable garden, and chickens were raised in the surrounding mountains and forests, everything that could be done in this place would be done, and even he couldn't think of it. Come out, what else can be done here? What should I do after I finish it? I really just lie down on that terrace every day like today. When I don't want to lie down anymore, I get up, then walk around casually, find someone to brag about, and hang around until the sun goes down, eating, sleeping and, have sex, the next day, over and over again. He is here, other than that, he really has nothing to do. Luligan thinks that he is a person who can't take any time off. Doing nothing is the state he can't tolerate the most. If that happens, he feels that he will be like a pile of the potatoes at the foot of the wall rotted away quickly. Luligan suddenly felt unprecedented panic. Thank you to 2 fishes, Quadratic VC, Old Yangwood House, reading books every day, and the rewards at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for 2 fishes, Zizhiw, Deos Hung 123, Water Chestnut in the Lake, Still a Boy, Book Friend 201906211331025336, Robber, Snake That Bit the Farmer, HGX, Look at the Landscape, ZSW, Ray of Emptiness, Dong Long Dong, Deji Lao, Ba Liang, Winsan Liu, LCS 0001, Taizong Shang 1, Book Friends 201709131435589112, Book Friends 201711192342199749, Yuan Wang's monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1797. Luligan took out his mobile phone, opened the address book, and slid through the numbers one by one, including Tan Shahan, Home, Lao Tan, Ying Ying, Lao Wan, Fan Jiangguo, Song Chunming, Su Wenhui, and Splendid China, and finally after passing Zhang Mushan and staying at Zhang Chen's place, Lu Lepole hesitated for a long time and did not press it. Of the many numbers in the address book, half of them are people he knows here and often talk to on the phone. They are his present, and half of the numbers are his past. These numbers were bought by Lu Ligan in Chenzhou. After using the phone, I typed it in and saved it from memory, but I never dialed it. Lu Ligan put down the phone and stared blankly below. The sun had reached the top of the mountain opposite. The lake was no longer white, but glowing with red light. There were more people in the swimming area on the other side of the dam. Now, people are starting to come out on the lake, rowing their boats out. In the parking lot below the embankment, cars are constantly driving in from outside the gate, and then they are submerged in the green shade of the parking lot. Most of the people who come at this time are not here to stay, but to have dinner at the fish restaurant here. When the hotel rooms are full, the private rooms in their fish restaurants will be converted into mahjong rooms after the meal. What is Zhang Chen doing now? Is he still in the office above the M zone? After he is gone, when he doesn't go back to eat, who will he eat with? Xiao Wu or Tan Shahen? Lu Ligan picked up the phone and scrolled to Zhang Chen's name. He imagined that as long as he pressed it, Zhang Chen would see an unfamiliar caller on the other end of the phone. When he picked up the phone, he would definitely say hello out of habit. Which one? This is still a habit developed in Heiken. Thanks to that period of time, Zhang Chen should have forgotten the management manual of the White Swan Hotel in Guangzhou that they bought in order to apply for jobs in various hotels. Zhang Chen should have forgotten all the other things in that manual. It's gone, but the habit of always saying hello and please when answering the phone still remains. Lu Ligan continued to imagine. He imagined himself saying, Lu Ligan, Zhang Chen's scolding will be heard on the phone soon, where the hell are you hiding? Lu Ligan couldn't help but grinned. Yeah, where the hell did I hide? I told you about Ningyuan, do you know? I told you about Hongling Reservoir, do you know? Lu Ligan knew that Zhang Chen wouldn't know where Ningyuan and Hongling Reservoir were, but he would say, I'll be there right away, you humming wait there. Then, Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu would set out from Hangzhou overnight to Hunan, just like they rushed to Liyang in Guizhou, just like they rushed to Shangrao to find Lao Tan. Lu Ligan knew that no matter where he was, Zhang Chen's first thought when he received the call would be, I will come right away. Lu Ligan sighed. He really didn't know how to tell Zhang Chen where he was and why he was here. Lu Ligan put down the phone and picked it up again. He remembered that he found Mr. Chiao from Shenzhen Angzhen Trust on the phone. Lu Ligan took a deep breath and made up his mind to call Lao Chiao first. Ask, Lao Chiao should know about Splendid China and Tan Shahen. As long as he still has contact with Splendid China, he will definitely know about Zhang Chen. Lu Ligan first pressed speakerphone, then closed his eyes and pressed the outgoing button. The phone beeped, and Lu Ligan's heart was beating fast. Hey, who's there? Lao Chiao's voice came from the phone. It was very noisy. Lao Chiao was obviously socializing outside. This call was most likely answered in the hotel box. Lu Ligan suddenly felt his throat felt sore. He swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and then said, It's me, Lu Ligan. Ouch, Mr. Lu. Just wait a moment. Lu Ligan waited with the phone. After a while, Lao Chiao's voice rang again. The noisy sounds in the background disappeared. Lao Chiao probably walked out of the box and arrived somewhere. Mr. Lu, have you returned to Hangzhou? Lao Chiao asked. No, I'm still out of town. Outside? Where? I'm here, this is in a ravine. Lao Chiao immediately understood that Lu Ligan was unwilling to tell him where he was. Lao Chiao did not continue to ask, but said, Mr. Lu, do you have anything to do with me? Well. Lu Ligan hesitated and said, I just want to know, is Splendid China okay now? Of course, life is not easy for domestic real estate companies now. Fairview China has now separated out the property management part and established Fairview Services separately. Fairview Services will also be listed in Hong Kong at the end of this year. The process has been completed. It's over. Old Chiao said, Mr. Lu, have you never contacted Mr. Tan and Mr. Zhang? No, I can't afford that shame. Old Chiao laughed and understood, and said, they are all looking for you, do you know? No. Listen to me, Mr. Lu, everything has passed. I know that they have put it down a long time ago. The only one who hasn't let it go yet seems to be you. According to me, it's time to let it go, Mr. Lu. I just can't let go, Lao Chiao. Do you still have contact with them now? Lu Ligan asked. Of course, it's more frequent than before. I'm doing the listing of Jinxia's services I mentioned earlier, and I'm also doing several projects at Xiaofang's place. What, you mean Xiaofang has returned from the United States? Lu Ligan asked urgently before Lao Chiao finished speaking. I'm back. Not only am I back, but I have become a family with Zhang Chen. I also gave birth to a daughter this year. Lu Ligan laughed. Yeah, that's great. Yes, the two of them really match well together, Lao Chiao said. The outside world has changed so much that Lu Ligan's brain can hardly keep up. There are so many things he wants to know, and he can't figure them out for a while. He asks. Old Chiao, can you tell me what happened after I left? How did Splendid China survive? Lao Chiao said yes. He told Lu Ligan that after he disappeared, Splendid China's stock price plummeted and was on the verge of being delisted. All kinds of negative news that was not conducive to Splendid China was flying in the market. Miss CAI and the others also decided to advance to redeem their corporate bonds. MSCAI personally went to Hangzhou. As a result, Zhang Chen and Tan Shuhen came forward to appease the creditors who came to the door. Zhang Chen also took out cash and released Lu Ligan's guarantee liability, thus eliminating the biggest thunderstorm for their company. Then, Zhang Chen pledged all the collections in his Riverside oil painting gallery, which made MSCAI give up the idea of redeeming corporate bonds and gave Tan Shuhen and the others a new loan to help them tide over the difficulties. Then the company's management increased its holdings and held an extraordinary shareholders meeting to elect Tan Shuhen as the chairman of Splendid China, restoring the market's confidence. When Lu Ligan heard what Lao Chiao said, chills ran down his back. He felt that it was really shocking every step of the way. I thought that as long as I left, I could leave everything behind, but I didn't expect that Zhang Chen still jumped in. Not only did he jump in, but he also risked all his wealth. If he hadn't been lucky enough to pass in the end, and more importantly, if he hadn't accepted if the domestic real estate market rebounds in a retaliatory manner, it is very likely that Zhang Chen will also be put in a desperate situation. Lu Ligan murmured, I don't know any of this, it's more terrifying than I imagined. Indeed, I was watching from the side and was worried about Mr. Zhang. Fortunately, I got over it in the end. MSCAI also had a very fond impression of Mr. Tan and Mr. Zhang. Otherwise, Splendid China would have been like that at that time. Due to the current situation, other financial institutions, even if they do not redeem their loans in advance, will at least continue to lend. Yes, Lao Chiao, when you see Miss CAI, thank her for me, Lu Ligan said. No need, Lao Chiao sighed, Miss CAI is no longer here. She passed away. Ah, Lu Ligan was surprised and asked, when did it happen? Just a few months ago, Mr. Zhang and Mr. Tan went to Taipei. Lu Ligan held the phone and was speechless. Lao Chiao thought of something. He asked, Mr. Lu, when was the last time you and Mr. Meng contacted each other? When we escaped, we separated in Jinhua and never contacted each other again. By the way, Lao Chiao, do you have any news about Lao Meng? Lu Ligan asked. Have. Really? Where is Lao Meng now? I called his original number that day, but someone else answered the call, Lu Ligan said. The other end of the phone was silent and didn't speak for a long time. Lu Ligan thought the call was disconnected, so he asked, Old Chiao, are you still there? Here, I'm here, Lao Chiao sighed heavily on the phone and said, Mr. Lu, there is one thing that I don't know whether to say or not. That's what you say, old Joe. Mr. Lu, Lao Meng has also passed away. What, Lao Chiao, what did you say? Lu Ligan was shocked and asked quickly. I mean, Lao Meng has passed away. How is it possible? When did it happen? Lu Ligan asked anxiously. It's been over a year. It's impossible, Lao Chiao, you must have made a mistake. How old is Lao Meng? How could he be dead? Who did you listen to this nonsense? Mr. Lu, listen to me, this is true, Lao Chiao said, I attended Lao Meng's memorial service in Shanghai. How could there be any mistake? Lao Meng is indeed gone. Lu Ligan kept shaking his head and said with a smile, old Chiao, you didn't put any effort into making up a story. At least it shouldn't be so full of loopholes. You said it was a memorial service in Nanjing when it was a memorial service in Shanghai. If you know how to make it up, how can you hold a memorial service in Shanghai? Listen to me, Mr. Lu, this is true. Lao Chiao said, Lao Meng was somewhere in Anhui. I forgot. It was a small place anyway. He was found by Mr. Zhang there. When Mr. Zhang found him, Lao Meng was already in the advanced stage of lung cancer. Mr. Zhang he was sent to Huashan Hospital in Shanghai that day, but it was still too late, and Lao Meng died in Huashan Hospital in Shanghai. After Lao Chiao finished speaking, he sighed again, it's not easy to live on the run. Most of Lao Meng's illness is caused by suppressing it. Lao Chiao's words were like a bolt from the blue, which stunned Lu Ligan. He held the phone and was speechless. Lao Chiao shouted on the phone. Mr. Lu? Mr. Lu? Old Chiao had been away from the banquet for too long. Someone came out and saw him and cursed, Old Chiao, which little sister's phone number hasn't been dialed for so long? Lao Chiao said okay, I will come right away. Hello, Mr. Lu. Old Chiao, go ahead. By the way, don't tell anyone else about my call to you, okay? Okay, I understand, Mr. Lu, we will contact you again. After hanging up the phone, Lu Ligan sat blankly, tears welling up from his eyes. He watched everything in front of him become blurry. Lu Ligan stood up and suddenly shouted. Old Meng, Old Meng. At this time, besides crying, he really didn't know what to do. Lao Meng, how could you not be here anymore? In the reservoir below, someone was rowing a boat. He heard someone shouting something in the mountains. The shouts echoed in the mountains. He looked around but couldn't find where the sound was coming from. Thank you Daos Hung 123 and ZDLM001 for the reward. Thank you to Daos Hung 123, ZDLM001, Book Friends Scooter, Sand Mood, Yuan Xiang, Hydrogen Oxide Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Book Friends 110115233651989, Earthling Wizard, Pai Wuzun, Looking for Plum Blossoms, and Form LO Blue for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1798. Mr. Chiao returned to the box. He ate this meal absently, always feeling that something was weighing on his heart. After dinner, it was already past 8 o'clock in the evening. Everyone made an appointment for the next stop and dispersed. Mr. Chiao walked to the parking lot, got into the car, started the engine, and turned on the air conditioner, but did not leave immediately. He sat and thought for a while, and decided to take out his mobile phone, found Zhang Chen's number, and dialed it. Zhang Chen, Xiaofang, and Lu Yun had just finished dinner together in the restaurant in the industrial park and returned to their offices separately. As soon as he sat down at his desk, he received a call from Lao Chiao. Zhang Chen surprised, he stood up immediately. Lao Chiao told Zhang Chen about his previous phone call with Lu Ligan, and told Zhang Chen Lu Ligan's phone number. Earlier, Lu Ligan told Lao Chiao that he was in a ravine. Lao Chiao felt that Lu Ligan must be having a very unsatisfactory life. What he was worried about was that this guy would not become Meng Ping again. Although Lu Ligan explained please don't tell anyone else about their phone call. After hesitating for a long time, Lao Chiao still felt that he should tell Zhang Chen. Among all the people, only Zhang Chen had the ability to persuade Lu Ligan to come back. Zhang Chen hung up Lao Chiao's phone and immediately dialed Lu Ligan's number. The phone rang a few times before being pressed down. You, Zhang Chen cursed and dialed again, but what came on the phone was the user you dialed is temporarily unavailable. Zhang Chen dialed 5 or 6 times, but still didn't get through. He called Lao Chiao, who said, "No way, or this guy won't answer your call. I'll try to hit him." Lao Chiao called Zhang Chen twice but couldn't get through. Lao Chiao called Zhang Chen and told him that maybe the guy's cell phone was out of battery and he would contact him later. Zhang Chen said yes. After hanging up Lao Chiao's call, Zhang Chen felt very depressed. He knew that the matter was not that simple. After the call was passed once, he could not get through again. This bastard must have deliberately not answered his call. Otherwise, even if he was on the phone, if there is no power, he will find other calls to call back. In fact, his first call should not be to Lao Chiao at all, but to himself. Zhang Chen stood up and walked out. A designer happened to walk by in the corridor and called him boss. Zhang Chen stopped him and asked him to lend him his mobile phone. The designer took his mobile phone to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen used his mobile phone to dial Lu Ligan's number twice, but still did not get through. Zhang Chen strengthened his judgment. This bastard seemed to show his face and then slipped away. Wen Wen and Qian were also looking for Lu Ligan. When they woke up, it was already around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They were not surprised when they didn't see Lu Ligan. This guy just couldn't rest. He didn't go there every day. Take a look here, just go and take a look there. When it was time to have dinner, they hadn't seen him yet, and Wen Wen and Qian didn't think it was strange. This guy was still a badass. He sat down wherever he went. He drank when people asked him to drink, and he especially liked drinking the kind of rice wine the locals bring from home. Everyone in the farmhouse, including Lao Wei and the construction team, knew that he was good at drinking. They would always call him if they brought wine. At this moment, Lu Ligan might be talking to Big Brain, Lao Wei, or Wu Rongui, or, there were so many captains down there, and he might be hiding with them in a cool corner of the reservoir, drinking. Wen Wen and Qian didn't care. They ate and took a shower. It was getting dark outside. The two of them went to the fish restaurant, the hotel, and then took a walk on the embankment outside. When I got home, I saw that the house was still dark, and I became suspicious. I pushed the door in, went upstairs, and looked on the terrace, but I didn't see Lu Ligan. Going to the 3rd floor to take a look, Lu Ligan was not seen on the beds in several rooms, and the two of them became a little nervous. Lu Ligan likes to wander around during the day, but the opposite is true at night. He doesn't like playing mahjong or playing cards, so he rarely goes out at night. Even if he eats out, he will come back very early after eating. Everyone else is ready at this time. Mahjong and card games started, and he had nothing to do with them. Moreover, not only did he not play mahjong himself, but he also did not allow Wen Wen Qian to play mahjong or cards with the people below. Lu Ligan told them that once you become mahjong or card friends with them, you will not distinguish right from wrong, and soon, your prestige in front of them will also be gone. In addition to walking in the evening, the three of them would watch TV or surf the internet and sing when they came back. So Lu Ligan hadn't come back yet, which surprised Wen Wen and Qian. They immediately thought of the issue that had always worried them, that is, would this guy suddenly appear in front of them just like he did before? The land just disappeared? They had imagined Lou Ligon's departure and designed many scenarios. After analyzing it, the two of them felt that the most likely scenario when Lou Ligon left was to leave suddenly without saying goodbye like today. This is in line with his style. Although this guy seems to be carefree every day and talks well with everyone, Wenwen and Qian know that in fact there is a very hard part in his heart. There are some things in his heart that he will never tell them, even in bed, when he was most relaxed. Even if they tried to trick him, it would be impossible. After being together for so many years, the experience between Lou Ligon's departure from Hiken and his sudden appearance in front of them was always a blank for them. They could not touch them. This was also the reason why they felt uneasy. The Pole always seems to have more serious thoughts than the person in their eyes. This was because he usually lay on the terrace with his eyes closed, as if he had fallen asleep, but as soon as the phone rang, he would immediately pick it up and answer it. This let them know that this guy, with his eyes closed most of the time, was actually they are all thinking about things, and they don't know what they are thinking about. He especially likes to stand in front of the window and smoke while looking at the reservoir outside. When he does this, his expression and posture are that of do not disturb. They still don't know what he is thinking. If this guy is 10 meters deep in the water, Wenwen and Qian know that they can only see him 2 or 3 meters deep at most. They don't know what else is below, and he won't tell them. Wenwen and Qian thought of the front page advertisement looking for Lou Ligon. Although Lou Ligon tried his best to deny that Lou Ligon was him, Wenwen and Qian still felt in their hearts that they were looking for. There is no doubt that Lou Ligon must be him. They also believe that the mysterious 10 must be a woman. Only when a woman is looking for her man will she become so hysterical and crazy. Men can only perform, but when it comes to asking them to pay something, they are really shrewd. Lou Ligon is the person who is the least able to scheme against women. That's why they like him. Wenwen picked up her mobile phone and dialed Lou Ligon's number. What came on the phone was the user you dialed is temporarily unavailable. Qian picked up her mobile phone and dialed Lou Ligon's number. What came on the phone was still the user you dialed is temporarily unavailable. The two of them looked at each other, feeling panicked. They hurried downstairs and ran to the hotel first. They saw that the light in Guanbei's office was on. They pushed the door in without knocking and saw 5 or 6 people rubbing their hands inside. Mahjong. Playing mahjong is a normal spare time activity after get-off work hours. When the people inside saw the boss coming, they didn't panic. Their big brains still shouted, "Wenwen, come quickly and help me change my luck." No time. Wenwen said, "Have you seen Mr. Liu?" 5 or 6 people shook their heads together. Qian had already picked up the intercom on the big head's desk and called, "Departments, is Mr. Liu with you? Let Mr. Liu speak." Immediately, the intercom kept saying, "No, Mr. Liu is not here." Only a woman shouted, "Qian, what's the matter? Mr. Liu can't be found. You go to my room and look to see if he is on my bed." Everyone inside and outside the walkie-talkie laughed, and Qian cursed, "Go away, get your humming balls out of here." Big Brain asked them, What do you want to do with Mr. Liu?" Wenwen quickly said, "It's okay. There seems to be a discrepancy in the payment to the construction team. Check with him." No one was seen. "By the way, when did you see him?" Some said in the morning, some said at noon. The captain of the planting team said, "Mr. Liu visited our vegetable garden in the afternoon." Wenwen quickly asked, "What did he do?" "I didn't do much, just hang out, and then brag with us in the loofah shed until I ran out of cigarettes. He felt my cigarette was too choked in his throat, so he left." The planting captain said, and Wenwen nodded, feeling a little relieved. From what the captain said, she could tell that at least in the afternoon, Lou Ligon was still a normal Lou Ligon, nothing unusual. The two people left the Big Brain's office and walked to the lobby of the nearby hotel. They asked the front desk if they had seen Mr. Liu, and the front desk said no. They went to the fish restaurant again. Dinner at the fish restaurant was over, but the people playing mahjong in the box were still there. Qian asked the security guard at the door if she had seen Mr. Lu. The security guard shook his head. The two people walked out of the woods, stood on the head of the embankment, and looked to both sides. Inside the embankment, all entertainment activities at this point had ended, and even the lights had been extinguished. Only the top of the embankment was still sparsely populated. Several people are walking. Wenwen and Qian said, "You wait here, I'll go over and see if this bastard is sitting there thinking about life." Qian said yes. Wenwen hurriedly walked towards the other end of the embankment until she reached the entrance of the vegetable garden, but she did not see Lu Ligan. She stood at the entrance of the vegetable garden and looked inside. It was completely dark inside, and there was not a single ghost. Wenwen turned around and walked back and saw Qian still standing there alone. The escalator going down to the embankment has stopped. The two people went down the stone steps and walked to the parking lot below. Summer nights are the peak period of electricity consumption. According to the arrangement of the Power Supply Bureau, the hydroelectric generator of their power plant has to work all the time. The machine was shut down at 12 o'clock in the evening. The lights in the workshop were brightly lit and the machine was rumbling. This gave them hope, thinking that Lu Ligan should be here. The two people walked into the power generation workshop. The two workers on duty greeted them when they saw them. Wenwen asked them if Mr. Lu had been here before. Both men shook their heads. Wenwen and Qian came out of the power generation workshop. After thinking about it, they walked towards the gate. When they arrived at the gate, there was a security guard on duty in the duty room at the door. Wenwen asked him, "What shift are you on?" "Mid-shift." "The middle shift is from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Wenwen asked, "Did you see Mr. Lu going out when you were on duty?" The security guard said no. "Who's on the morning shift?" "Flathead." "Hurry up and ask if you saw Mr. Lu going out when he was on duty." Wenwen said that the security guard said yes and ran out quickly. At the construction site with flat barren hills outside the gate, workers were using the cool night time to carry out construction work. Although the security guard told them that Lu Ligan had not gone out, Wenwen still said to Qian, "You are here, I will go over and take a look." Qian said yes. Wenwen walked out, stepping on the mud on the ground, and walked to the brightly lit place. Old Wei was also here. Wenwen asked Old Wei, had she seen Mr. Lu? "No, I had 2 drinks with him when we were in the cafeteria at noon, and we haven't seen him since." "Why can't Wenwen's husband be found?" Old Wei said. You," Wenwen cursed and walked back through the mud on the ground, covered in stinky sweat. Wenwen stopped in the darkness, looked up at the sky, and felt a little sad. She felt that tears were about to flow down, and she quickly shook her head to throw away the tears. Wenwen returned to the duty room, and the security guard also came back. Qian told her that no one on the morning shift saw him go out. Wenwen nodded and looked at each other with Qian. The only thing left was the staff dormitory. Wenwen and Qian walked towards the dormitory building. They arrived at Wurongui's room first and knocked on the door. Wurongui saw that both of them looked a little ugly and asked quickly, "What's wrong?" Seeing that Wurongui did not have Lu Ligan here, Wenwen felt that her last hope was shattered. She almost burst into tears and said, "Mr. Lu can't be found, and the phone can't be reached. Check to see if he's playing cards in a certain room here." Wurongui was shocked. Although he knew that Lu Ligan would not come here to play cards, he still walked out of the room and accompanied Wenwen and Qian to search from room to room. Lu Ligan was still not found. Only a little girl said that she was there in the afternoon. "I saw Mr. Lu when I was working at the canteen." "Does Mr. Lu look any different?" Wenwen asked. "No, he bought a pack of cigarettes, a bottle of water, and ice cream from me, and then left." The little girl said that she did not tell Ween Wenqian that Lu Ligan also treated her to ice cream. About what time? Wu Rongui asked. The little girl thought for a moment and said, it should be almost 4 o'clock. Wu Rongui turned around and asked Ween Wenqian, is this the latest time for Mr. Lu to appear? Ween Wen thought for a while and said yes, Lu Ligan should be in the vegetable garden. After finishing smoking, he walked inside to buy cigarettes. The security guard at the door didn't see him, and the security guard in the parking lot didn't see him either. There were so many people below us, but they didn't see him come down. Mr. Lu must still be in the reservoir area above. Wu Rongui analyzed, Ween Wen and Qian both nodded. In their hearts, of course, they also hoped that Lu Ligan had not gone out. As long as he was still in the reservoir area, he would come back. Oh, no, Wu Rongui shouted. What's wrong? Ween Wen asked. Mr. Lu, did he fall into the reservoir? His last movements were on the edge of the reservoir, Wu Rongui said. What the hell, he can swim even if he falls into the water, Qian scolded. Wu Rongui shook his head and insisted, there are swimming champions who have drowned. Is it any wonder that those who can swim will not have hand cramps or foot cramps? This is the season when foot cramps occur frequently. When Ween Wen and Qian heard this, they also panicked. They didn't care which swimming champion was drowned. Ween Wen said anxiously. What should we do? Look, mobilize all the people, search throughout the reservoir area, Wu Rongui said, we are now racing against time. Thank you hoo quadratic VC, and the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you hoo musicking, CYTYP, W destiny comes to ya, Guzio Kyokiu, love waits for no one, void broken dreams, Damasker, book friends 202024162146453553, Captain Jim, know your mind, you know whether a book is good or not, Zonkai 727, Quiet Bookworm, Book Friends 0910261531555820, Ufan, Zixi Tianying 1978, Book Friends 201901092142571714, Book Friends 20210301106577871196, Suyu Enian, Kong Ryu Ye Kong, Xiaoyong 2005, San Ran Daxia, I'm really bored, Yuengzi, monthly votes for Benba. Major, Fantasy in the Wind, Z. H. C. Zipanjiang 1, Book Friends Scooter, Leisure List, Ruyus Haiku 0107, Ji Unlang Ken Bridge, Tiangu Mail Sign Ken Ci, Book Friends 201907212018094888, Book Friends 201708182135179119. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1799. Wu Rongui called everyone in the dormitory. He left 3 people to search under the embankment, inside and outside. The others followed him and Ween Wenqian to the top of the embankment. A group of people rushed to Big Head's office and opened the door. Big Head and the others were shocked to see so many people coming in. Wu Rongui told them that Mr. Lu was missing and might be in danger. When several people heard this, they immediately pushed their mahjong and stood up. With everyone coaxing together, Ween Wen and Qian had already panicked and had no idea. When they heard that Lu Li's pole might have fallen into the water, they shouted to everyone to look for bamboo poles and nail ricks. Looking for a flashlight, and they didn't specify who should be asked to find it or where to look. Everyone was running around, making it a mess. The most sober person was Wu Rongui. He shouted to everyone not to worry and to follow his instructions. Everyone became quiet and listened to him. The fishing team was fully equipped with flashlights and tools. Wu Rongui divided them into 2 groups. One group searched along the embankment, and the other group, rowing the fishing team's fishing boat, also searched along the embankment. Pay special attention to the protective net of the water diversion culvert. Nearby, if Mr. Lu falls into the water, he will eventually flow to the dam due to the current. Because they are also generating electricity at night. When generating electricity, the water in the reservoir flows from a very thick culvert to the power generation workshop under the dam, drives the hydroelectric generator, and then flows into the river. This culvert is the only water outlet of the entire reservoir. Any debris in the reservoir will drift here. In order to protect the turbine generator, they use steel pipes to enclose an area of 5 or 6 square meters at the water inlet of the culvert. These steel pipes extended from the water surface to the bottom of the water. Barbed wire was installed on the steel pipes to prevent branches from rolling down the mountain. And debris discarded by tourists flow into the culvert. Even dead fish and crabs in the reservoir will be stopped by the fence, let alone a person. Wurongui asked the fishing team to fish carefully near the fence, use pennies to slide along the barbed wire a few more times, and the salvage team members followed the order and went out. There are flashlights in every room in the hotel. Wurongui asked the hotel manager to collect the flashlights in each room. He told everyone. Our entire reservoir area is either a mountain or a river. As long as Mr. Lu does not leave the reservoir area, he will be in these two places. We will search in these two places separately. He arranged for the men to go up the mountain in groups of 3 to look for them. He divided the entire mountain in the reservoir area into several pieces, and each group contracted one piece. He asked all the women to also be divided into 2 groups, and one group would take the fish. For the greenway on the side of the restaurant, you can find it all the way along the reservoir, and then go around in a circle until you come back to the vegetable garden. There was another group who first went to the vegetable garden to look for it but didn't come out. The same thing happened. They searched all the way along the reservoir and came out from the fish restaurant. The 2 groups met halfway and didn't care. They just did their own thing. In this way, we have searched the entire reservoir twice, and we will definitely not miss anything. Everyone set off after receiving the order. Wenwen and Qian also wanted to follow everyone to find it, but they found that they were already weak. Wurongui told them that you will sit here and take command. If anyone has news, they will come back and report. We also need people here. Wurongui winked at Guankai, and the 2 of them went out to look for someone. Wenwen and Qian looked at each other and were about to cry. Wenwen was thinking, why the hell are you just sitting here and giving orders? My brain is already in a mess, and I am still giving orders. Even though the air conditioner was on in the office, their shirts were already wet. Where could they sit in the office? Wurongui and Big Brain had just gone out, and they followed them out. The 2 of them reached the embankment, but they didn't know where to go. They saw below the embankment, the people of the fishing team were patrolling between the slope of the embankment and the water surface with flashlights. There are also 2 strings of flashlights on both sides of the reservoir, like a procession of fireflies moving. On the mountains surrounding the reservoir, there are also flashlight lights, swaying faintly on the top of the mason pine. If it were not for fear of disturbing the guests, Wurongui told everyone to just look for him and not shout. Otherwise, the whole reservoir area would definitely be echoing with the shouts of Mr. Lu at this time. Although there was a slight cool breeze blowing from the water and the mountain, Wenwen and Qian still felt very hot. The sweat on their faces and bodies was constantly flowing, but no matter how hot it was, they did not want to go back to the office. Right here, looking at the light of these flashlights is also a kind of comfort. With their legs weak, the 2 of them sat down on the embankment. Wenwen seemed to suddenly remember. She quickly dialed Lu Ligan's phone number. What came on the phone was still, the user you dialed is temporarily unavailable. When Qian called again, the same message came back, the user you dialed is temporarily unavailable. The 2 of them cried softly. The team that started from the fish restaurant was the first to come back. They found nothing. The team that started from the vegetable garden also came back. They also found nothing. Everyone sat around Ween Wen and Qian Qian. Come down and look at the lights on the surrounding mountains. Then, the captain of the fishing team came back with his people. They told Ween Wen Qian Qian, no, they didn't see Mr. Lu. Someone cursed softly, you will be finished if you see Mr. Lu. Ween Wen and Qian Qian were shocked when they heard this. Yes, it would be a good thing if they didn't find out. If they found out, then Lu Ligan would really have cramps in his hands and feet, as he said to Wu Rongui. Thinking of this, Ween Wen was shocked and became happy. Ween Wen looked at the lights on the surrounding mountains and thought, we can all see it here. If Lu Ligan was on the mountain, how could he not see it? As long as he saw it, he would definitely know that everyone was looking for him. Someone thought of it and called, Ween Wen, are we still looking here? Mr. Lu has already gone home. When Ween Wen heard this, she suddenly got the strength and ran home, with Qian Qian following behind. They ran home full of hope and looked upstairs and downstairs, but there was still no sign of anyone. The two of them returned to the dam disappointedly. When they saw the two of them coming back, everyone knew that Lu Ligan was not found. The captain of the fishing team sighed. After taking a breath, he said, the only thing we haven't found is the water surface in the reservoir area. Ween Wen, shall we go to the reservoir area to look for it? Ween Wen said yes. One of the fishing team members said, how can we search in such a large water surface with just one boat? We won't be able to finish the search until dawn. Immediately someone said, we can row one hand at a time. The door is locked, someone said. Their bumper boats, rowing boats, and motorboats are all moored next to a long row of cement docks. The docks will rise and fall as the water level in the reservoir rises and falls. There is an iron bridge leading from the docks to the pier. There is an iron gate in the middle. In order to prevent tourists from entering the dock and boating privately, causing safety accidents, this gate is locked when workers are off work. It's a pity that the worker who manages this gate is from the nearby village. She goes home after get off work, and she does not live in the dormitory. There's still a key in the brain case, someone said. Someone immediately retorted, the brain case is on the mountain. You go to the mountain to get the key. Smash the lock, Ween Wen said. No, 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 said the fishing captain, our boat will row over and we can open the door when we get to the dock. Everyone laughed. Yes, it was such a simple thing. The pin lock of the door could not be opened from the outside without a key, but from the inside, it could be opened with a turn of the knob. Why didn't everyone think of it? Everyone walked down the slope. The fishing captain had already run to the bottom of the slope, jumped on the boat, and rowed towards the dock. By the time Ween Wen and the others reached the iron bridge, the door had already opened. The fishing captain told everyone, there should be only 2 people on each boat. One is rowing and the other is responsible for observing the water. For safety reasons, those who cannot swim should not get on the boat. There are no life jackets now. Soon they formed a team of 2 and everyone started to get on the boat. The fishing captain suddenly yelled, wait. Everyone looked at him, wondering what he was going to do. The fishing captain asked Ween Wen, do we have 12 rowing boats? Ween Wen is right. One is missing, the fishing captain said. Everyone counted and it turned out that there were only 11 rowing boats here. The fishing captain snatched the 4-battery long flashlight from his team members, turned the flashlight head to high beam, and then swept it towards the center of the reservoir. There, everyone shouted in unison. In the light beam of the flashlight, they could vaguely see a boat in the middle of the reservoir. Ween Wen and Qian Qian jumped on the fishing team's fishing boat, and the captain also jumped on. Go quickly, Ween Wen shouted, and the captain immediately started rowing the oars. The boat sailed away quickly, and the other rowers followed behind them. The point in the center of the reservoir was getting closer and closer under the light beam of Ween Wen's flashlight, and the shadow of the boat became clearer. When it was still more than 20 meters away from the boat, something floated on the water. The captain slowed down the boat. Quickly, she approached the thing. Qian picked it up and saw that it was a paddle used for rowing by hand. Ween Wen shined a flashlight on the boat, and the three people's hearts tightened. They saw that the boat was an empty boat, and there was no one on board. So, Lu Ligan was still killed. Ween Wen and Qian couldn't help crying. There's someone on the boat. Ween Wen, look at the stern of the boat. The captain shouted, and at the same time he rowed harder. Ween Wen and Qian looked at it and burst into laughter. They saw a foot hanging out of the boat at the stern of the rowing boat. They rowed to the boat and saw Lu Ligan lying on his back in the cabin, already asleep. Qian was so angry that she picked up the oar in her hand and struck hard at the side of the boat. The boat shook suddenly. Lu Ligan was shaken sideways inside, and then he woke up. Just as he was about to open his eyes, more than a dozen flashlights were beamed at him. Lu Ligan quickly covered his eyes with his arms, sat up and cursed. Turn off your humming flashlights." The flashlight was not turned off, but the light moved away from his face. Lu Ligan saw a dozen boats surrounding him and wondered. "What the hell are you doing here?" "What are you doing here?" Ween Wen asked. "Let's enjoy the cool air and sleep." "It's so cool here and there are no mosquitoes," Lu Ligan said. "What about your mobile phone? Why can't you get through?" Qian asked. "Mobile phone? My mobile phone fell into the reservoir," Lu Ligan said. "What the hell, did you drop your cell phone in the reservoir? You caused so many of us to come out to look for it? Look at the surrounding mountains. Do you see that they are all looking for you?" Ween Wen scolded. Lu Ligan retorted, "Why are you making such a fuss with me? Where else would I go to such a big place? When I wake up, I will go back naturally." The captain said, "Ween Wen and the others are worried that you fell into the water. I can humming swim if I fall into the water. There's a boat next to me. How can I drown?" Ween Wen pursed her lips. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1800. Lu Ligan came down from the mountain. It was starting to get dark. He walked to the embankment and stood there looking around. At the dock in the reservoir, all the boats had returned. Only the swimming pool not far away was still there. There were a few people swimming, and the safety guard at the farmhouse was blowing his whistle and urging everyone to go ashore. For safety reasons, all water activities will end before it gets completely dark. Then, all the lights in the venue will be turned off, leaving only one or two lights. While there are only a few people here, the fish restaurant is already bustling with activity. Through the huge glass, you can see the crowds of people inside, mingling with each other. Lu Ligan stood blankly for a while. He didn't want to go back, so he walked towards the pier under the embankment. When he reached the iron bridge, the staff was about to lock the door and get off work. Lu Ligan walked over and said, "Wait, I want to row." The staff member turned around and saw Lu Ligan and opened the door again. Lu Li pulled past the iron gate and said to the staff, "You can get off work. I will come back later and park the boat under the fish restaurant." Below the fish restaurant, there is a trestle in the middle of the rows of cages. Above the trestle, the fishing boats of their fishing team are parked there. The staff agreed, "Mr. Lu." Locked the door and left. Lu Ligan sat on the rowing boat. At this time, it was completely dark. Lu Ligan rowed the boat towards the middle of the reservoir. He subconsciously wanted to leave all the people and lights and go to a place where there were no traces of people at all. He wanted to be alone in this place. Lou Ligan was rowing in the dark, tears streaming down his face, and muttering, "Lao Mang, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lao Mang." It wasn't until the surrounding lights faded away that Lou Ligan stopped paddling. Just now, Lao Chiao's words touched him. Lao Chiao said that life on the run was not easy, and Lao Meng must have left this world because of depression and illness. Lou Ligan agreed with Lao Chiao's statement. He felt that Lao Meng was still different from himself. Lao Meng was the kind of person who was destined to be unwilling to be lonely. He wanted to make a splash and make a lot of noise wherever he went. He was a bustling person. A person who can only survive among the crowd. If he is allowed to settle for nothing like himself, it will kill him. Sure enough, he left so early. Lou Ligan thought of the first day he met Lao Meng, how they had walked together step by step over the years, and how many past events had turned into smoke. Without Lao Meng, even the past seems to have no place to anchor. Lou Ligan didn't want to believe it was true, but he had to believe it was true. Lao Meng had really left. The panicked farewell at Jinhua railway station was their eternal farewell. Farewell. Lao Meng has gone, gone, gone. And the source of all this is still the PTA battle, or Lao Ni and those Shaoxing people. Lou Ligan thought that it was no one else but himself who brought Lao Meng to this life betting game. Otherwise, Lao Meng would definitely be still like Zhang Chen, living healthily in his Nanjing. Lou Ligan deeply blamed himself for this. He felt that it was not someone else or some bullshit lung cancer. It was himself that killed Lao Meng. If Lao Meng had stayed in Nanjing, he could stand on the tallest building in Nanjing and look down every day. Nothing will happen to him. That's where Lao Meng really should stay, his home court, and the one who tempted him to leave his home court was not others, but himself. Lou Ligan sat there, tears streaming down his face. The wooden paddle in his hand had slipped into the water, and he didn't even notice. He was cursing himself as he recalled what Lao Chiao had said to him. He thought about what the hell he had done. Not only did he kill Lao Meng, but he almost killed Zhang Chen. They were wiping his own ass and cleaning up what he had left. When you were in a mess, all you did was fool around with women. Damn it, did you really think you could just walk away? Sooner or later, you have to pay back everything you want when you come out. If you haven't paid it back, it's because someone is paying it back for you. Lao Meng took his life, and Zhang Chen almost took everything from him. With a brother and friend like you, they probably can only admit that they are unlucky, right? Lou Ligan sat there blankly. If he didn't know the nature of water, he would have plunged into the water. Unfortunately, he grew up by the Xianan River and his water nature was very good. The water could not drown him. The instinct to survive will make him struggle even when he is dying, unless he can restrain his hands and feet first. Lou Ligan fell down in the middle of the cabin and stared blankly above his head. The night sky in this ravine was particularly deep. The stars in the sky were big and cold, like a dome covering the top of his head. Each star the stars looked so aloof, and they sneered together, mocking him. What a damn good brother. The stars were pieced together, and what they pieced together was Meng Ping's face, and Zhang Chen's face. Their faces kept changing in front of Lou Ligan's eyes, making the starry sky above his head blurry. Lou Ligan hit it with the back of his head. It hit the bottom of the bilge and made a thumping sound. His cell phone rang. He looked at it and saw that it was Zhang Chen. The ringtone was like a needle, piercing his heart. He pressed the phone down. The ringtone rang again unyieldingly. Lou Ligan knew that as long as he didn't answer, the phone would continue to ring. Lou Ligan raised his hand casually, and the phone in his hand flew out and fell into the water with a plop. I'm sorry, brother, the mountains are high and the water is vast, so we will never see each other again. Damn it, I don't have the face to see you. Just let me rot in this place, keep rotting, whoever lets me rot is a humming rotten person. Zhang Xiangbei arrived at JFK Airport. At the exit, he unexpectedly saw Zhang Xingxin, standing there and smiling at him. Zhang Xiangbei said, "Why are you here?" "I'm here to pick you up," Zhang Xingxin said. "The training camp is over, and there are still 3 days before school starts. Didn't you say that you would come and hang out with you when I have time?" "My sister asked you to pick me up," Zhang Xiangbei asked. "If Xiang Nan didn't call, I couldn't come to pick you up," Zhang Xingxin asked. "Is Xiang Nan your mother or mine?" His tone was already a little harsh, so Zhang Xiangbei quickly changed the subject. "Has your school registered?" Zhang Xingxin didn't answer. It was indeed not Xiangnan who asked her to pick up Zhang Xiangbei. After Xiangnan saw off Zhang Xiangbei at Pudong Airport, the three of them received a call from Zhang Xingxin on their way back. At that time, Zhang Xingxin drank a cup of strong coffee at night and stayed awake until midnight. She was really bored. She had no one in the United States to talk to or a phone number to call. She dialed Zhang Xiangbei's phone number. "Turn off the phone and then dial Xiang Nan's number." Xiang Nan told her that they had just sent Zhang Xiangbei away and were on their way back to Hangzhou. After putting down the phone, Zhang Xingxin checked the flight. Knowing that Zhang Xiangbei came back by this flight, she took the bus from Boston to New York. Zhang Xingxin said, "You tell me first, are you happy to see me?" Zhang Xiangbei smiled and said, "Of course I am happy. To tell you the truth, after my aunt Xiaofang went back, every time I came back from China, I saw that there were people picking up people at the exit, but I didn't. It was still a little sad to let myself go. I know that no matter how long I stay here, the United States is still a foreign land. Returning to New Haven from New York makes this feeling even more intense, and it is completely different from returning home." "What if we return to China?" Zhang Xingxin asked. "Go back to China. I have to hide for a long time to avoid someone coming to pick me up. I flew to Pudong Airport alone, and when I walked from Shanghai to Hangzhou, the same thing happened." "What does that poem say?" "It's like being close to home. I'm even more timid and illiterate when I'm close to my hometown," Zhang Xingxin scolded. "That's right, I get buzzing when I'm near my hometown. The further I go to Hangzhou, the buzzing starts in my head and ears," Zhang Xiangbei said. "As soon as I got home, there was a bang in my house. It completely exploded. Your grandparents are all buzzing around you. I even wonder if I didn't tell them that I went back. I actually enjoy this kind of surprise." Zhang Xingxin giggled and said, "I think you are." Zhang Xingxin felt happy when he heard what Zhang Xiangbei said. He knew that Zhang Xiangbei said he was happy to see him, and he was not being polite. "By the way, you haven't answered me yet." "Have you registered?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "Of course, not only did I register, I also submitted my application for residence," Zhang Xingxin said. "Yes, you can already live independently in the United States," Zhang Xiangbei said. "I was still thinking on the plane that I would go to Boston tomorrow to accompany you to register and apply for residence." "Xiang Nan asked you to help me?" "No, you don't need to give orders. Of course, when doing things, you have to start and finish. How could I leave you in Boston? However, it seems that you don't need me anymore. Not only have you done both of these things, you also know how to start from the beginning. Boston has come to New York," Zhang Xiangbei said with a smile. Do you think I'm an idiot?" "Impossible, I haven't heard that Massachusetts can accept even idiots," Zhang Xiangbei said. "However, you were wrong before, Zhang Xiangbei. I still need you, very much," Zhang Xingxin said. Zhang Xiangbei was a little confused. He looked at Zhang Xingxin and asked, "Do you still need me? What else do you need me to do for you?" "I need you to help me make braised pork and mapo tofu." Zhang Xingxin looked at Zhang Xiangbei with a grimace and said, "I have been eating burgers for more than a month, and I feel like vomiting when I see them." Zhang Xiangbei laughed loudly, I can cure this disease. In this case, let's not go back to New Haven first, but stay in New York. I will take you to a place that guarantees that I can cure your disease. Where? Zhang Xingxin asked. There is a restaurant on 5th Avenue opened by a Wenzhou owner. They have Wenzhou fine noodles shipped from China and make Wenzhou fried noodles. We have also eaten the fried noodles at the seafood night stall at Hangzhou World Trade Center. Just as delicious. Really? That's great. Zhang Xingxin couldn't help shouting loudly. People on the side looked towards them. Zhang Xingxin made a face at Zhang Xiangbei. Thank you for the rewards from 1UP and 2 Fish, Winsanliu, Quadratic VC, ZDLM001, around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, Baby Tin Soldier, third from top to bottom, and reading books every day. Thank you Huang Pipi, Whereon, Zizhiwu, Book Friends 201710262258322742, Luoluaoyashan 1 Flower 1 World, Yuan Wang, I Love Xiaoshu, Xiaosheng Year 48, Brother Harmony, Tianwei Y, LCS 0001, HGX, Book Friends 201709131435589112, Suyu Enian, Thomas. LHB, Breeze Slowly 365, Moral Flame, Quadratic VC, 2 Fishes 1 Up and 1 Down, $$ Wandering Hashtag at, Baby Tin Soldier, Moral Flame, Winsanliu, Monthly Ticket for the Fish Eating Brother. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1801. Zhang Chen checked Lu Ligan's phone number on Baidu and found that the phone number belonged to Chenzhou, Hunan. Zhang Chen suddenly remembered that time when Mr. Zhang Shaoan brought Lu Ligan out of Haikan, wasn't he afraid of being chased by those bad guys? We didn't dare to go back to Liuyang. Did the two of us go to Chenzhou to stay for a long time? Could it be that Lu Ligan went to Mr. Zhang this time? Mr. Zhang originally said that he had never met Lu Ligan. Was he lying to them? Zhang Chen immediately called Lao Xie and told him the matter. Lao Xie wanted to give Mr. Zhang's phone number to Zhang Chen, saying that Zhang Shaoan knew about him. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, Lao Xie, you'd better call. I'm afraid that Mr. Zhang's mouth has been sealed and he won't tell me the truth. Lao Xie said okay, then I will fight. 10 minutes later, Lao Xie called back and told Zhang Chen that the Pole did not go to Mr. Zhang. Mr. Zhang had not seen him since he broke up with him last time. Last time they said they were going to Chenzhou, but in fact they were in Chenzhou. In the suburbs of Chenzhou, Mr. Zhang stayed in the factory of his old cousin. He had never even been to the urban area of Chenzhou. Mr. Zhang called his old cousin to ask, but the Pole had never been to his factory. Zhang Chen pondered for a while, and he told Lao Xie that if the Pole was still in Chenzhou, even if he hadn't gone to see Mr. Zhang's old cousin, I think it must be nearby, otherwise he wouldn't have gone to Chenzhou, that place. After all, he had been there for such a long time and he was familiar with it. Lao Xie thought it made sense. He said, then I will ask Mr. Zhang's old cousin to look for it nearby. Forget it, let me go there. When I get there, I can feel where this guy might be hiding. Other people really don't necessarily know, Zhang Chen said. Lao Xie said yes, then I will ask Mr. Zhang to send you the location and phone number of his old watch factory. By the way, Lao Xie, don't talk to Tan Shehen about this yet. I'll talk about it after I go find her, so as not to have another wasted joy, Zhang Chen said to Lao Xie. The advertisement looking for Lu Ligan not only caused great repercussions in the society, but also among their friends. Everyone knew the true relationship between Tan Shehen and Lu Ligan, and everyone knew that Tan Shehen was looking for Lu Ligan. Lao Xie said yes, I have counted. After hanging up Lao Xie's call, Zhang Chen immediately called Xiao Wu and told Xiao Wu about the matter. Xiao Wu said, Brother Chen, I will go with you. Take me with you. I'll go too. We have a branch in Chenzhou that can help, Wu Ziyawai shouted when he heard Zhang Chen's call next to Xiao Wu. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, Wu Ziyawai, why are you there? Wu Ziyawai said, something happened in our warehouse. I came to deal with it. After it was dealt with, I and Xiao Wu had dinner in his office. Why, if I wasn't there, would you not take me with you this time? Zhang Chen smiled and said, take it, take it. When are you leaving? Wu Ziyawai asked. Without further delay, I want to leave right away, Zhang Chen said. Okay, Xiao Wu and I are coming over now and leaving the city from your side. Zhang Chen said yes. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen walked out of his office. He walked to the park building next door, went upstairs and walked to Xiaofang's office. Xiaofang looked up and saw him and smiled. What a rare visitor. Why are you here? Zhang Chen said, I'll come over and tell you that I'm going out at night. Where are you going when you go out at night? Xiaofang asked. Zhang Chen told Xiaofang about the matter, and Xiaofang shouted, so, brother Gangzi finally has news. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly and said, this guy showed his head and hid again. We are going to find him right now. Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai are on the way here. We will leave immediately. We are late. I am worried about this. The guy moved somewhere else, and there's not even a clue. Xiaofang said, okay, then you should be careful on the road. Zhang Chen said that he understood. The road was not far away, about 1001 kilometers. The three of them took turns driving and they would be there tomorrow morning. Zhang Chen also told Xiaofang not to talk to Tan Shuhen about this for the time being. Xiaofang said yes, I understand. More than half an hour later, Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai arrived. Zhang Chen asked Wu Ziyawai, what happened in your warehouse? It was a small matter, internal strife. The deliveryman and the deliveryman got into a fight. From Henan and Anhui, there were more than a dozen people on both sides. Fortunately, Xiao and the others suppressed it. I'm here to make them reconcile, and we all have to eat together, Wu Kai said. The three of them were getting ready to set off. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu said, go talk to Su Qiaxin. Xiao Wu said no, I had already called her and told her on the way. Zhang Chen scolded, you are already here, but you are only a few steps away, why don't you go over to meet her? Xiao Wu chuckled, and Wu Ziyawai pushed him out the door. When Wu Ziyawai came back, Zhang Chen asked him, what about you? Have you talked to Wei Wenfang? As I said, Wei Wenfang immediately agreed as soon as I said to go find Mr. Liu. Zhang Chen understood and asked, are you still holding on to Wei Wenfang because of what happened when the Pole went to borrow money last time? Wu Ziyawai said yes, I have such a handle, how can I bear to use it, otherwise she will fly into the sky. It's been so many years, damn you, even though the rightists have been rehabilitated, you're still staring at me, Zhang Chen scolded. Wu Ziyawai said, it's not that I won't let him go. Sometimes Wei Wenfang herself will mention that Mr. Liu has been gone for so many years. Wei Wenfang later thought about it and felt that she did go a little too far. She felt that Mr. Liu's departure was more or less the same as hers. It has something to do with it. After all, we were all brought up by Mr. Liu, and Mr. Liu treated us well before. His departure has nothing to do with you, Zhang Chen said. At that time, not to mention millions, even tens of millions were in vain. Do you understand? When you come back this time, you will give him nothing. I told Wei Wenfang that she did nothing wrong. Wu Ziyawai said yes. Xiao Wu and Su Qiaxin came in together. Su Qiaxin held a stack of documents in his hand and said to Zhang Chen, boss, help me sign these payments before you leave. Zhang Chen looked at them and saw that they were all payment orders to the factories below. Zhang Chen signed them one by one and handed them to Su Qiaxin. The three people walked to the door, got in the car and left. The three of them drove in turns, except for going to the service area to refuel, eat late night snacks, and go to the bathroom. There was no stop on the road. At around 6 o'clock in the morning, when they had just passed Ganzhou, Zhang Chen's phone rang. He looked at it. It was Zhang Shaoan. Zhang Chen was wondering, why was Zhang calling him so early? Zhang Chen picked up the phone and Mr. Zhang told him on the phone that he had arrived in Chenzhou. Mr. Zhang, don't go to Chenzhou on the expressway. Go to Chenzhou South Interchange, turn to Nanling Avenue, and drive 3 or 4 kilometers forward. When you see the Shigatang exit, get off from this exit. I will wait for you at the exit, Xiang the black Mercedes-Benz with the name 8, I will sleep in the car waiting for you, Zhang Shaoan confessed on the phone. Zhang Shaoan's old cousin's factory is in Shigatang town. Shigatang is still 8 or 9 kilometers away from Chenzhou. When they got off the expressway and passed the toll station, they saw Zhang Shaoan. Zhang Shaoan did not tell him what he said. Sleeping in the car, but standing next to his car, waiting for them. That's him, Wu Zaiwai shouted, and Xiao Wu parked the car behind Zhang Shaoan's car. Several people quickly got out of the car and walked towards Zhang Shaoan. Wu Zaiwai knew Zhang Shaoan. Zhang Chen only talked with him on the phone and never met in person. Wu Zaiwai introduced each other for them. Zhang Chen shook hands with Zhang Shaoan. Zhang Chen said, "Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Zhang." "That's right. Mr. Lu and I have lived here together. I know where we have been and it's easy to find," Zhang Shaoan said. Several people were talking, and a car parked not far ahead. 2 people got out and walked towards them. They walked to the edge and stopped, looking at them. One of them tentatively asked Wu Zaiwai, "Excuse me, are you Mr. Wu?" Wu Zaiwai said yes. It turned out that these 2 people were Mr. Su and Mr. Ma from their Chenzhou branch. The Chenzhou branch was not directly under Wu Zaiwai and his head office. There was also a Hunan branch in the middle. Therefore, they had never met each other. Mr. Su and Mr. Ma, I had only seen Wu Zaiwai's photos in their company's internal publications. Wu Zaiwai was a little strange and asked, "How did you know I was here?" "Mr. Wei personally called us and asked us to fully cooperate with you," Mr. Su said. "We all went to Zhang Shaoan's old Baiao's factory. The factory was not far from here, and it only took 10 minutes to drive there. My old Baiao was waiting for them at the factory gate. When he saw them arriving, he arranged for everyone to have breakfast. Shigatang town is small, with a population of just over 20,000. Zhang Chen and the others searched here for a day, searching all the places that Zhang Shaoan and Zhang Chen thought Lu Ligan might have gone to, but they could not find Lu Ligan. I took Lu Ligan's photo and asked people everywhere, but no one said they had seen Lu Ligan. Zhang Shaoan's old cousin told them, I know Mr. Lu even if I haven't seen him for many years. If he stays in Shigatang for a long time, I will definitely run into him. Shigatang is a bigger place." Zhang Shaoan also felt that what his old cousin said made sense. He said that Mr. Lu should be in the urban area of Chenzhou and not in Shigatang, otherwise we would definitely be able to find him. That night, everyone went to Chenzhou city. Mr. Su and Mr. Ma helped them arrange the hotel. When everyone was having supper together, Mr. Su and Zhang Chen said, "Give me Mr. Liu's phone number and I will come tomorrow. Let friends from the mobile company help determine the location, and then check who the owner of the phone is. If we find the owner, we can find Mr. Liu." Everyone thought what Mr. Su said made sense, so Zhang Chen gave Mr. Su Lu Ligan's phone number. The next morning, Mr. Ma came to accompany them early in the morning. At about 10 o'clock, Mr. Su hurried over and said to them, "This number is very strange. The location cannot be determined. The card must have been taken out or something. Moreover, since the time you mentioned, Mr. Zhang, this number has never been answered. So, this clue is broken again," Wu Zaiwai asked. "No, I have found the owner of the phone. It is not Mr. Lu himself, but a person named Wu Mai Hui. I have asked a friend to get her household registration information. Also, I will find out where this number was sold. It's clear, Mr. Su said. Then Mr. Lu is probably over here, Zhang Shaoan shouted. Everyone got excited. Thank you for the reward at the age of 48. Thank you Xiao Shen Nian Fang 48, Lulu 67 17 P11, Zipanjiang 1, Daos Hung 123, and Hao, Engross 11, Purple Hao, Book Friends 202009111601099750, Book Friends 1101152336518898, Sand-Dust Mood, Big Dream Who Wakes Up with Laughter, Reader 297873838071100656, Reader 11847471796111032232, Book Friend 201805160119064113, Z.I. once said, the otaku cat with the world in mind, GG, the sinful orchid finger, boating in the mist and rain, a monthly ticket to take a look at it at your leisure. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.